Hello, hello. Is there anybody out there? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Making sure that you can hear me and that I'm not deafening you with the volume of the mic again. Welcome back to the stream, guys. Today we are not talking about tornadoes. For the first time in a long time, we're not talking about tornadoes. We're not talking about hurricanes. We are talking about a daggone cold front. And let me tell you something, this cold front has been the most talked about thing in the weather world I have ever seen. This is insane. And one of the reasons behind all the hype is because of the sheer amount of people that are being impacted by this storm. I want to show you something really interesting here. Real quick, though, before we do that, guys, I want to say hi. We got a lot of people here, chat. Say hi. Where's everybody from? It's tradition at the beginning of the stream here. Everybody in chat says where they're from. Okay, and we just make this go crazy. All right, I want to see the text fly by so fast it's hard to even keep up. So where's everybody watching from? It also gives me a good way to gauge, where do I need to focus my attention? All right, if we've got a bunch of people watching from Indiana, I need to make sure I don't skip over Indiana, right? So there you go. All right, yeah, we got a bunch of people here from all over the world, obviously specifically from the United States. But anyways, one of the things that I wanted to show you right off the bat, and my goodness, you make sure you don't spam the chat. Just put your location in once, okay, or else you'll get timed out. I don't want to get you in trouble, okay? I don't want to get you in trouble. I really don't. All right, so one of the things that's really interesting here is this map. This is the watches and warnings map from the National Weather Service. This is showing us all the different advisories, all the different hazards, okay? And this is the number one craziest thing that I've seen so far out of this event. I've been doing this for a while. I've got a lot of friends, meteorologists who have been doing this for a while. And this is one of the craziest things we've ever seen. Almost all of the U.S. is under some sort of warning thanks to this storm. Now, a lot of it is a wind chill warning or a wind chill watch. And that's a lot of this light blue color that you see here through the plains down into the panhandle of Texas. All this pink over here is a winter storm warning. And then this orange is a blizzard warning, all right? And then we've got a hard freeze warning down here towards the south, towards the Gulf of Mexico, literally all the way to the beaches. We have a hard freeze warning down here. And then, of course, we've got a lot of winter weather advisories and winter storm watches out a little bit farther to the east. Yo, welcome all the new members, guys. Thank you so much for showing your support. That's awesome. Basically, in this stream, I'm going to go through the weather models and just kind of walk you through everything. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit more and go by region. And then, we're going to look at some stuff that's going on right now. We're going to track this thing. And then one of the cool things about not having tornado warnings during these streams is that I'm actually going to be able to read chat. So I'll be able to take your questions. And we'll be able to hopefully get you that information that you're looking for, because boy, there are so many people looking for it. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. But this is the reason why. This is why you can't go anywhere in America right now without hearing about the weather. And, it's going to be a once per generation kind of big time event. But the way that it is that isn't going to feel like it for a lot of people. So it's going to get very cold. That's going to be the number one dangerous thing about this. It's going to get extremely cold, but a lot of people are not going to get a lot of snow. Okay. Some people are actually going to get hardly any snow, but still this is going to be a memorable storm for you. And when I say that, a lot of people are like, wait, what are you talking about? Winter storm equals snow. There's nothing else that I would care about. I'm going to explain the difference here in just a second as we continue to go through this. And my goodness, the chat is just going crazy. The chat is going crazy, guys. Thank you for letting us know where you're from. I think we've got a good idea now I've got a good idea of where everybody is watching from. So we're going to go through and take a look at the current situation. And then we are going to go region by region and take a look at everything. Really good thing to point out here from Jenny. Bring in your animals. This includes stray cats. At least leave them in the garage. That's a good one. Animals are, it's important to think about that. A lot of people watching this right now are going to experience one of the first -20 to -30 degree wind chills of their life. A lot of animals out there are also going to experience that for the first time. I learned the other day that even a Siberian husky isn't like, it's not good to leave them outside if it's below just 5 degrees, really 10 degrees. So imagine that. And it's really important to remember the pets. Thank you, Jenny, for bringing that to our attention. Now, here's the weather map. Doesn't look very crazy. Okay. Oh, DV Twister says, is a cold air mass a storm? Not necessarily, but this cold air mass is being driven down into the United States by a storm. This is going to be a big storm. This is going to be an incredibly, like, it's going to be a snow hurricane pretty much for some parts of southern Ontario and into Canada. The reason it's not going to be as much of a snow big deal here in the U.S., at least south of the Great Lakes, is just because of the lack of moisture. There's so much cold air. There's so much energy. There's so much winds, but there's just not a lot of moisture kind of interacting with that at the right time. Some people are still going to get a bunch of snow, and we'll take a look at that right here in a second. But first, let's take it slow, guys. Let's take it slow. Come on now. This is our system. This is what the weather map looks like right now. It doesn't look very impressive, but we've already got big time snow bands breaking out across Colorado, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Minnesota. If you guys live out here somewhere where it's already snowing, I would love to see your pictures and your videos of what's going on. Send me your weather reports. You can do that on Twitter today. Twitter at Ryan Hall, y'all, or you can send it to me on Facebook. And obviously, if we've got anybody out there with a Yolometer, we might as well go ahead and do that too. Send me your Yolometer snow reports as well, and we'll get started on that. Pics at ryanhallyall.com or specifically Twitter tonight is going to be the easiest way to do that. This is just a short update. Tomorrow I'm going to do a full live stream for like the whole event, and that's when we're really going to get into like getting your snow reports and stuff. But for tonight, let's do Twitter. Follow me at ryanhallyall and just send me some reports, okay? Anyways, as you can see, we've got some heavy snow down here in northern parts of Colorado in through Nebraska and up here into South Dakota and North Dakota. Now, the really cold air, the dangerously cold air is still back here a little bit. Actually, it's a little bit farther than that. It's way up into Canada. But this is the frontal boundary. This is the leading edge of that really cold air as it's going to continue to come down into the U.S. over the next little bit, okay? It's going to be fast, okay? Especially once it gets around Illinois, when this thing kind of gets right here, it's going to zip across the rest of the U.S., and that's when I plan on doing my live stream tomorrow. But right now, it's snowy and it's windy out here, but nothing too crazy going on just yet. I've got a little live camera above my head there from Des Moines, and as you can see, there's definitely some accumulation, but nothing absolutely nuts right now. It's going to get nuts. It is going to get nuts in Des Moines. You're going to have a blizzard. It's just not there yet. Let's see here. I want to show you some other things. Okay, here's a good representation of the cold air. I don't know if you guys can see the little icons or not, but this is Nebraska right now. In southeastern Nebraska, south and east of Grand Island, it's 26 degrees. It's a balmy 26 degrees. You can go outside in shorts and a t-shirt. If you're from Nebraska, you probably agree with me, okay? It's 26 degrees. All right, we'll take a little drive past North Platte and go to Alliance, Nebraska. It's -12. So you can very clearly see that this is the boundary. We got 30 degree weather back here, -10, almost -20 degree weather back here. And guess what? It only gets colder the farther back you go, and that does not include the wind chill. A lot of these people up here tonight into tomorrow are going to see 30, 40, and 50 degree wind chills. There are some places up here in South Dakota and North Dakota that I'm actually pretty concerned about, some of them seeing negative 70 degree wind chills, which is just not safe for anything to be out in that. That's the kind of, I mean, like, you can have all your doors closed, you can have all your windows closed, you can have the heat running, but ice still forms on the inside of your doors and windows. That's the kind of cold that we're talking about in some of these places up here. It's going to be dangerous. And, you know, I hate saying this because it sounds kind of sensationalized or whatever, but it's deadly. Like, even if you're from North Dakota, these guys are 100%, you know, used to cold weather. But you know, it's for a specific portion of people, it's going to be unfortunately hard to deal with. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Let's see. I also want to go through the weather models a little bit. Let's take a look at what the radar could look like as we go forward through tonight into tomorrow. And let's really get a good idea on what's going to happen here. You can keep up. Can you keep up with the time? Yes, you can. If I pull this down, the time's at the top of the map up there. You see Wednesday, December 21st at 7 p.m. This is what the radar could look like as we go into the future. This is, let's see here. I'll turn that down a little bit. Okay. This is starting tonight, going into the early morning hours tomorrow. Okay. Midnight tonight. This is what the radar could look like. Obviously, snow is going to expand a lot as far as coverage goes, the farther we get into this, because this low pressure center is going to deepen very quickly. So it's going to be snowing heavily through a lot of Iowa into all of the state of Wisconsin by midnight tonight. All right, up into the UP of Michigan as well. This is where our blizzard's really going to start. This is when you're really actually going to feel like you're in a blizzard, especially in places like northern Iowa, southern Minnesota, from about now until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. In the morning tomorrow. We're going to have a full-on blizzard through a lot of this area. Madison, Wisconsin, you're going to be one of the places that probably ends up seeing some of the more significant impacts from this. And then as this continues to move, what happens is we've got a lot of moisture over here. Okay, it's going to rain in South Carolina, North Carolina tomorrow morning. That rain's going to try to turn into a little bit of a mix and some snow in the Appalachian Mountains as we get later into the morning and towards the noon and afternoon hours. And then this cold front is really going to start showing itself right here around Illinois, around 11 a.m. And Missouri and Oklahoma. It's going to be snowing back here. The really cold air is still going to be lagged behind the snow a little bit, but for the most part, it's definitely going to feel a lot colder right along this line where the rain switches to snow. This is one of those instances where it's probably going to be in the 50s and 60s out here, and then negative 20, negative 30 back here. And the boundary between that is very thin, and the temperature is going to drop fast. So let's say it's 11 a.m. Tomorrow, it's going to start off as rain in places like Dallas, Little Rock. It's going to start off as rain in Memphis, Evansville, St. Louis, all the way up into Indianapolis and Chicago. Even in some places in Michigan and Ohio, Kentucky, we're going to have rain showers, intermittent rain showers tomorrow. And then, like almost out of nowhere, the winds are going to change directions and you're going to drop below freezing, and then you're going to start getting snow. Some people could go from 40 degrees to 20 degrees in a matter of hours, and that is what we call a flash freeze. So not only do we have the inches of snow that could fall as the cold front comes through, we've got wet roads, right? We've got runoff from the rain showers that we had earlier in the day. All of that water is going to instantly freeze when this cold front comes by, and then you've got a little bit of snow on top of that. That is going to make for some just absolutely treacherous road conditions out here tomorrow afternoon. This is 4 o'clock. Tomorrow, this is around when I will start the main live stream. So we'll have storm chasers out there. We're going to have people probably around Chicago, St. Louis, giving us a view of the road conditions in those areas. We'll have people in Indianapolis. We'll have somebody in Kentucky, Ohio. We've got you covered here tomorrow. And we're just going to follow the progression of this cold front as we go through. 7 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to be snowing heavily through a lot of Arkansas into Memphis. Okay, we're talking about really heavy snow here in the boot heel of Missouri, up through Evansville, Indianapolis, a lot of Illinois, Chicago, and then this is when the really heavy snow starts to fall in the oven of Michigan. The UP of Michigan is going to be seeing it too, but this is when the blizzard is going to be commencing here across the state of Michigan. We're still rain in Ohio, we're still rain down through the Ohio Valley, and we're still heavy rain out here in the Mid-Atlantic regions. Let's skip forward just a couple more hours. 12 a.m. midnight tomorrow. So we're at Friday now. I'll still be live during this time period. But now our cold front is marching off to the east and it's snowing in Nashville. All right. It's getting ready to start snowing in places like Chattanooga. Right around midnight, it'll be snowing heavily in Lexington, Kentucky with that, 20, 30 mile an hour wind gusts, making it kind of, intermittent blizzard conditions. Cincinnati, Ohio is going to be getting in on some really heavy snow. We're going to see extremely heavy snow up there in Detroit. And once again, the whole state of Michigan will be covered in snow. And you see a trend here. It looks like Michigan's going to be the winner as far as snow totals go by the time this thing is all said and done. Because look, Memphis is dry now. All right, St. Louis is dry now. The snow's gone. Bloomington, Illinois is dry by midnight Friday. Chicago's done. All right. It's the weirdest blizzard you'll ever see in your life. It's if you blink, you're going to miss it in some places. But that's not going to change how impactful this is for a lot of people. Once again, you're still going to be dealing with the flash freeze. And now after the snow goes by, this is when the dangerous temperatures really start to set in back here. And by the way, those dangerous temperatures are also going to make it into Texas and Oklahoma and places farther south. We're going to talk about that right here in a second. But for now, we're kind of focused on the snow. All right. And once we're done with the snow, then we'll talk about the temperatures. So we've got heavy snow through the Ohio Valley up into the Great Lakes region. We're starting to see snow break out in the Northeast up here in Vermont, New Hampshire. But this big warm bubble is going to very quickly melt that. So this is going to move up to the north and east. That snow will change over to rain, and then eventually it'll change back to snow as this comes through. But look at how progressive this cold front is. By 3 a.m. on Friday, it's done snowing in Lexington. It's done snowing in Cincinnati. But now the heaviest snow is in eastern Tennessee. There's some heavier bursts of snow through the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina, Georgia, of course, into West Virginia. A lot of eastern Ohio now seeing that heavy snow. All of Michigan, most of Michigan anyways, is still seeing heavy snow at this point. But the heaviest snow and the craziest weather is really going to be happening up here in Ontario and southern portions of Quebec. From Toronto up through Sudbury, you guys, some of you will have well over a foot of snow, probably closer to 2 feet of snow. You're going to have blowing and drifting snow. You're also going to be experiencing some of these really dangerously cold temperatures and winds around the central area of low pressure. Whenever this really deepens out and undergoes bombogenesis, which I really hate saying that one too. That's kind of like a buzzword that the media likes to use, but it's real. It's actually a real thing. This thing could undergo bombogenesis and drop pressure really fast, causing winds of maybe 60, 70 or hurricane force or above intermittently here in southern portions of Ontario and Canada. And this is going to lead to huge snow drifts and, of course, just a really detrimental to travel blizzard in the greater Great Lakes region, especially the farther north you go. All right, so let's keep pushing her forward. Notice how we go farther into the future. The snow really breaks out here in Canada. And one of the reasons for that is all of this moisture that we've been seeing coming up the East Coast is finally phasing into the system. And it's getting thrown into that cold air, and it's just blowing up. If that were to have happened earlier, we would have seen a foot or two of snow all the way up down through Missouri, Kentucky, into Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. We would have seen that. But because of that late phasing, all of that snow is going to be up here into Canada. And our cold front, once again, so progressive, everything's occluding, and then boom, it kind of just disappears. There's going to be a quick hit of snow for Pittsburgh, all of Pennsylvania. There's going to be a real quick hit of snow for places like New York City. I'm talking about 10, 15 minutes. And then we are going to see the snow kind of really hit upstate New York, especially north of the Capital District. And then look at that warm air bubble, though. Isn't this crazy? It's going to be like negative 30 degrees in St. Louis and like 50 degrees in Maine. It's going to be colder in a lot of Texas at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but Friday, than in some parts of Canada near Quebec. I mean, that's just kind of crazy. And I'll show you the temperature gradient here in a second, but the big, giant, historic cold front looks like this. And then you've got this little warm front right here. By the way, big time storms out here over the Atlantic Ocean, probably some big water spout problems. So if you know any fish out there, let them know. But anyways, let's keep pushing this forward, and we'll go out as far as this thing will go. And that's it right there. 1 a.m. Saturday. 1 a.m. Saturday, this thing's going to be out of most of our hair. All right. But, big but, the one area, or the areas that will continue to be heavily impacted, are near the lakes. Look at this, guys. The lake effect snow machines. It's like this is going to be where we end up seeing some crazy snow totals. Look at that. The moisture from the lakes is just getting pulled off of them and then dumped in the form of snow through western Michigan, a lot of the UP of Michigan into northern Wisconsin, and then in places like Buffalo, New York, where we just saw 6 feet of snow. Watertown, all the way up from between Kingston and Montreal. This is going to be our secondary big-time threat here, where the lake effect snow is just absolutely going to add insult to injury, where now we're having 10, 20 degree below normal wind chills. And we've got some lake effect snow on top of it. 20, 30, 40 mile an hour winds, an ongoing blizzard problem up here. Okay, so let's take a look at the snow totals from this model. And I want to be very clear about this. All right, I want to be just so clear about what we're getting ready to talk about. This is a conservative forecast, in my opinion, for snow totals, because what we're going to be looking at is a 10-to-1 snow ratio, which means that, I'm sure you've heard about this before, in a lot of cases, for every 1 inch of liquid that falls, so like if it would have been an inch of rain, that equals 10 inches of snow. Have you guys heard about that before? Well, that's technically true in a lot of snow systems. But in a system like this, where it is so cold, the ratio is actually a lot higher than that. 1 inch of liquid could actually be closer to 20 inches of snow, maybe even higher than that in some cases. So this model paints the snow maps in a 10-to-1 ratio. So I think that there's a very good chance that a lot of these totals are underdone. Now, if this model is showing that you're going to get 3 inches of snow, does that mean that you're going to get a foot? No, but 3 to 6 inches is probably more likely, because the model, this one in particular, doesn't necessarily understand how cold it's going to be, and every snowflake is going to stick. In a lot of snowstorms, that's not the case. You guys know how that works. But in this one, it's a little bit different. So let's just take a look, just for fun, at some of these snow totals. What could we expect out here from this storm? Up around Des Moines, we're looking at a lot. By the way, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Man, can you guys see that? For those of you who are watching on a TV, you could probably see it no problem, but there's a little indicator here that shows the inches. I'll do my best to audibly talk about what these numbers are showing, but hopefully you guys can see it. Wherever my cursor is over, it shows the inches here. But anyways, just north of Des Moines, we're talking about 6 inches of snow. Once again, I think we could see a little bit more than that because of the how cold it's going to be and the fact that the model is probably underdoing the stuff. The 10-to-1 ratio, right? So 6 inches here, Cedar Rapids, 6 inches. The whole state of Wisconsin looks like 7 to 8 inches. So places like around Madison, this is showing 5 or 6 inches. 7 to 8 inches is more likely. Green Bay, however, showing 11 inches here. A foot of snow is definitely on the table. The UP of Michigan, there's a lot of places up here that'll see over a foot of snow. I would just about say the entire UP of Michigan, by the time this is all said and done, including the lake effect stuff, the whole UP of Michigan is going to have over a foot of snow, with some places near Houghton and Marquette probably getting well over 2 feet. Now, into the oven mitt of Michigan, a lot of places in eastern Michigan and in central Michigan are going to be looking at 5 to 6 inches of snow on the low end. I think that 7, 8, 9 inches of snow is definitely possible with those higher snow ratios. Detroit, same thing for you, possibly over a foot. But the closer you get to the lake over here, like around Kalamazoo, 2 feet of snow is not out of the question. Muskegon, 2 feet of snow is not out of the question. Traverse City, 2 feet of snow is not out of the question. So Michigan is going to be, the farther west you are in the state, the closer you are to the lake, the better chance you have of getting, I think, close to 2 feet of snow by the time this is all set and done. Okay? And by the way, a lot of southern Ontario here is going to be getting in on more than a foot of snow, close to 2 feet of snow, especially if you're around the greater Sudbury area in Huntsville. Even higher totals maybe over here north of Montreal, which, as you can see, this model's spitting out maybe 30, 40 inches. So we'll see about that. So as you can see, the farther north you are here in the Great Lakes region, the more snow you're going to get. If you're in that darker blue, we're talking about 3 to 6. If you're in that purple to pink, we're talking about maybe, like 5 to 9, something like that. The closer you are to the green, the better chance you are of seeing over a foot or well over a foot. And I'm sorry if you can't see my little indicator here. I'll try to fix that for the next snow stream. I'll try to make something a little bit more pleasing to the eye here. So now, as we go down to the south, places like St. Louis, it's painting 4 inches, okay, or 2 to 4 inches. This is where things get a little tricky because it is going to be cold down here, okay? We could be looking at a higher ratio than 10 to 1. So, but the problem is that cold front. You guys remember watching the progression of the cold front. It's going to be moving so fast, and in a lot of these situations, the cold front outpaces the moisture. So if there's not a lot of moisture hanging around and that quick burst of snow only lasts an hour or two things happen. First of all, less snowflakes fall, right? The less amount of time you're under a snow band, the less snowflakes are going to fall. But also the less time the ground and everything has to resonate to the new temperature. So it's going to be 40, 50, 60 degrees out ahead of this thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's 30 degrees, it's 20 degrees, it's 10 degrees. But the ground is going to take time, and not a lot of time, I must say, but it is going to take a little bit of time to resonate to a level to where every snowflake is going to stick. So the farther south we go, there might be a little bit of melting right at the beginning, but still, this is going to be more than a 10 to 1 ratio for the vast majority of you. So in places like St. Louis, this model's showing 2 inches. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 4. Maybe even more than that, but that's what we're showing right now. The same thing for a lot of Illinois. The farther north you go in Illinois, we're looking at maybe 5, 6 inches of snow. Around Chicago, 4 or 5 inches on the low end. Maybe a little bit more if we get that cold air and the higher ratios. The entire state of Indiana is pretty much the same story. Same thing for Ohio. But here's the thing that this model I don't think is showing very well. on the northwestern side of the Appalachian Mountains, from, let's say, Pittsburgh to Cleveland down to Richmond, Kentucky, and Charleston. This area is probably going to see more snow than what's modeled here, because as the storm comes through, there's going to be a burst of moisture, I believe, from the lakes that's going to kind of rake up against the mountains and lead to a period of lake-enhanced snow for the people on the northwestern side of the mountains. Now, it's not going to be like anything crazy, but it will increase the snowfall rates for a brief period of time between Pittsburgh and Lexington, leading to, I believe, a good 2 to 4 inches of snow for this area. Some isolated areas could see more than that. Like, for example, this model is showing 6 inches in Columbus, and with that increased ratio, we could be talking about 7 or 8 inches, maybe. But you can, hopefully you're getting a good idea of what this storm is looking like overall, though, just by getting an idea of what these numbers are looking like. It's not crazy. We're not talking about a widespread 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot of snow. And that's because of the really fast moving cold front. From the beginning of this thing, I've been talking about the cold air. The first video I made about this was, this will be the coldest Christmas in a long time. I made a TikTok about the cold air. There's always been the threat of a massive snowstorm, but for a lot of us, we're not getting a massive snowstorm. We're just getting a massive storm with a little bit of snow and a lot of wind and a lot of really, really negative impacts from the wind chills and stuff like that, which we'll talk about more here in a second. Into Pennsylvania, places north of Pittsburgh could see 6-7 inches of snow. Of course, in the higher elevations here in the Appalachian Mountains, a lot of places will see over 1 foot of snow. Places along the coast, though, like Philadelphia, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, up to Boston, the I-95 corridor doesn't look to me like it's going to be getting much snow at all from this. We're talking about a quick hit of snow showers, maybe, but for the most part, this is going to be a rainstorm. It's going to be a windy storm for sure, but it's going to be a rainstorm for a lot of you in this region. And then, of course, in the higher elevations in Vermont and New Hampshire, we could see some good snow. But for the most part, the heaviest snow is going to fall up here in the northern Great Lakes region. We're talking about 2 to 4 inches through a lot of upstate New York, 3 to 6 in some of the more northern areas. And that's just kind of what we're looking at here. Oh, whoa, look at that. Is Buffalo, New York going to get clobbered again? Yeah. So with the lake effect snow that comes after the main event, Buffalo here does look like it on the northern side, could see close to 30 or 40 inches from this. That's nuts. That's nuts. And another thing that's nuts, I don't know if I had the ability to show you surface winds on this. I don't think I can show you 850 millibar winds. Let me try to show you something here. One of the things that a lot of people aren't talking about, and I don't think I've talked about enough, is the strong winds aren't only going to cause a problem on the eastern side of these lakes with lake effect and lake enhanced snow. But some of the winds are going to be blowing like 70, 80, 90 miles per hour over the lakes because it's like frictionless, it's flat water. And by the time you get that much wind flowing over a body of water like this in the right direction, by the time it gets to the other side, you get kind of like a wave pool effect where a lot of the water kind of builds up on one side. So we could have something similar to coastal flooding on the eastern side of some of these lakes. And there are some areas that are pretty decently covered with ice. So you could see some of that coming onto shore as well. And I don't know the exact details about that right now, and I'll look into it. But I know that is going to be a problem in places around Buffalo, possibly even closer to Watertown, and on the eastern side of these lakes, because you get that much wind going over the water all moves with it, right? And that's going to cause some problems in this area over here. And I'll make sure we have some more details for you on that tomorrow for the big stream. And by the way, if you're just now tuning in, we're talking about the weather. Obviously, But we're just kind of getting ready for this massive storm that's getting ready to impact hundreds of millions of people across the U.S. This is probably the most impactful weather event of my lifetime. I'm 28 years old so far. And when I say that, I'm talking about widespread impact. Almost everybody in America will be like, holy smokes, at some point during this storm, whether it's a 20-degree below zero wind chill or 2 feet of snow or a thunderstorm or a really fast temperature change. People like, this is a power outage, water leaks, gas leak, things that happen with extreme cold. This is going to impact the lives of the vast majority of Americans during the busiest, one of the busiest travel periods of the year. So that's why there's so much hype around this. That's why you can't go anywhere without hearing about it. And that's why I'm here right now to try to guide you through it, let you know what's going on. I don't want to hype it up. I don't want to scare you or anything like that. But I do want to let you know that, like, this ain't fake. Like, this ain't a joke. Like, this is actually going to be a pretty bad situation for a lot of people, but it ain't going to be the end of the world. We are going to have a blizzard. We are going to have a quick hitting snowstorm, and we are going to have some extremely dangerously cold temperatures. But the world will continue to turn after all that is over. Let's see here. Let's take a look at some wind chills. And I promise I'm going to get to looking at the chat here in a second. I'm going to get to looking at the chat right here in a second. I'm going to answer some questions. We're going to have a jolly good time. But I want to right now look at wind chills, because this is the biggest deal, in my opinion, about this storm. This is what's going to cause the most problems. This is what's going to make this a memorable storm for the vast majority of people. Lord. All right. Can you guys see this? Let me switcheroo here to models. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. So this is a map of the U.S., and what we're looking at is a temperature gradient map that shows us the apparent temperature, which is the wind chill. And we're starting off, you can keep up with the date and time above my head. We're starting off at 8 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. And where you see the pink back here in portions of Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, all the way up into the BC of Canada, Manitoba, and all the way down into the, portions of Kansas, that is anywhere from -40 to -70 degree wind chills. And once again, I can't stress enough how dangerous that is. And then this is the cold front. This is what I'm calling the great cold front of 2022. I need to add like an echo effect to that. But that's exactly what it is. This is the gradient right here. The cold air from Siberia is spilling across the continental U.S. as we get into 8 a.m. Tomorrow, and it's going to move fast. Check it out. Watch the wall of Arctic air move down into the lower 48. Here we are at 1 a.m. on Friday. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's actually zoom in on the central U.S. first and really kind of talk about some of these numbers. Lots of -40s, lots of -50s here in the northern plains. But look, all the way down into Texas, the panhandle of Texas, my goodness. Some places in the panhandle of Texas could experience a -22 degree wind chill. And sometimes people think that showing the wind chill is kind of pointless, I guess, because a lot of times, if it's going to be 0 degrees and we're going to have a -20 degree wind chill, a lot of times that -20 degree wind chill only comes intermittently, right? Because it's the air's kind of calm, and then you get a breeze or a gust of wind, and then that's when you really factor in the wind chill. In a situation like this, with such a big cold front and such a powerful storm driving it, the sustained winds are going to be enough to produce these dangerous wind chills, let alone the gusts. So it might as well be -20 degrees. But this is the feels like or the wind chill temperature that we're looking at here. I just want to be completely transparent with you. The actual temperature in Fahrenheit is going to be -5. So, I mean, that's still, even without the wind chill, that's still crazy for Texas. But anyways, let's come back to the wind chills. And you can see the boundary here where, you know, we're in the positive 40s and 30s out in front of this thing, and in the negative 40s and 30s behind it. And just watch, once again, the wall of cold air come through. We're going to get to -10 in St. Louis around 3 p.m. tomorrow. A lot of northern Texas will be around -5, -10. And then this is going to continue to plummet down into the central and eastern U.S. Look at this, guys. Close to single-digit wind chills all the way down on the coast. Imagine being on the beach, the Gulf of Mexico, all right? And it's cold enough to snow. And not only cold enough to snow, but it's cold enough to snow a lot and stick and accumulate on the beach. And actually, some places down here might experience some intermittent flurries as the front passes through. But anyways, historic cold for a lot of the central U.S. Let's switch over to the east. We are going to see those wind chills make it into Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, all these places as we get into the early morning hours on Friday. And this is, like, look at this. The whole state of Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois is -20, -30 with the wind chills. I'm telling y'all, that's going to cause a lot of problems. Not only with like water mains and stuff like that. We're talking about the demand for heating is going to go through the roof, and it's such a widespread area. I would be surprised if there wasn't at least intermittent localized power outage problems. And I have no idea whether or not that's actually going to happen. I've got good trust and faith in a lot of our, power infrastructure companies, and I'm sure they're preparing. I'm sure they're doing everything they can, but I've definitely tracked storms like this with much less of an impact that caused power outages. So that's something that you probably should prepare for if you're susceptible to, if you need a generator, if you need to gas it up, if if that's going to be a problem for you, there's a very good chance that at least for some period of time, the demand for power and heating is going to be so high that it might be unavailable for a little while. So that's something to keep in mind for sure, especially when you've got whole states and whole regions, hundreds of millions of people experiencing 30 degree below, temperatures. So anyways, moving on, Friday, December 23rd at 11 p.m. We're still going to be very cold throughout a lot of the eastern part of the U.S. That's when some of this stuff starts getting into the Northeast, all of Pennsylvania, all of New York, all of Vermont, New Hampshire, West Virginia, Virginia. We're starting to see those negative wind chills work into North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and look at this: 17 degrees in northern Florida. Let's keep it going. Close to 14 degrees in northern Florida as we get into 7 a.m. on Saturday. This is early in the morning on Christmas Eve. It's going to be, the wind chills will be in the 20s and 30s throughout the majority of the peninsula of Florida. And then if we keep it going, look at this, guys. Just a continued onslaught of cold weather all the way through Christmas Day. Now, Christmas Day isn't going to be as bad as Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve, but it's still going to be cold. It's going to be dangerously cold all the way through Christmas Day, especially in a lot of the Great Lakes region and in through the Ohio Valley. And it's going to be just annoyingly cold all the way down into Florida, too. So that is definitely going to cause some problems. Now, a lot of these areas, especially north of Tennessee, are going to have a couple of inches of snow on the ground. That's not going to melt anytime soon, obviously, with temperatures near zero and wind chills near -20. So let's take a look at the wind, surface wind gusts here. As the storm goes by, my goodness, look at that. This is why it's going to be like a blizzard for a lot of people. As the storm goes by, everywhere in the green here, we're talking about 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts. And when you start seeing the yellows, that's 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts. So, even imagine in your head a blizzard. What do you see? What do you see when you think of a blizzard, right? You see white. You see like wind blowing, snow blowing. Okay, imagine in your head a blizzard. Keep that image in your head. Now, how many inches of snow are on the ground? The answer is you don't know, and it doesn't matter, because 1 inch of snow or 10 inches of snow with 40 to 50 mile an hour winds is going to kind of look like a blizzard, at least intermittently, especially if that happens while the snow is falling, which a lot of these places are going to be kind of quickly hit by that cold front as it goes by. So any leftover snow could be blowing around and stuff. And this is just going to be, once again, just the worst timing possible for this. The big winds and the snow and the blizzard conditions are going to be happening all the way through Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Day, things do start to calm down a little bit, but that's Christmas Day. You're supposed to be where you're supposed to be by then. So just really unfortunate timing for this massive, truly massive storm. As we continue to look at all the latest data as it comes in. Just for fun, let's take a look at snow totals from some of the deterministic models, including the GFS, because they actually have the Kuchera algorithm or method, the ratio that actually kind of shows, in my opinion, a little bit of a better interpretation of what the snow could look like, the actual accumulations could look like. Anywhere in the purple and pink here could be looking at 6 to 12 inches, according to this one model. This is not a forecast. We're just looking at all the different data inputs here. This is one of the things. All you guys right now who are watching this, your local weather guy, whoever he is or she is, they're looking at this right now. They're looking at it and they're writing it down, and then they're going to come over here and they're going to look at this one. I'm giving you guys some inside baseball on how your weather guy makes the forecast. So they're looking at these computer models and they're like, all right. The other one said 6 to 12 inches. This one says, if I'm in Indianapolis, this one says, 4 to 7 inches. All right. And then they're going to come over here and they're going to look at this one, the Canadian. All right. 4 to 7 inches. I see that pretty good. And then they're going to look at a couple more. All right. And then because they are experts, most of the time a person who works at your local TV station and is the weather person is a meteorologist. So they're going to use their expert knowledge of the biases that these models have, and their knowledge of your local area and the way the environment and the terrain impacts the weather, and they're going to put together a snow forecast. But the real the magic ingredient to every snow forecast that is made is this. I mean, it's computer algorithms, and the way these work is you put in all the current forecast or weather data that's currently happening from around the world, and you play that against an algorithm that kind of like looks at everything that's happened in the past, and then it kind of spits out a simulation of what could happen in the future. And there's a lot of different weather models that have different algorithms and have different inputs and have different biases and different kind of ways that make them better or worse. And you just compare all of them and you make a forecast off of that. But it does help to know, like I was talking about earlier with that effect on the Appalachian Mountains, it helps to know stuff like that to kind of enhance your forecasts and stuff. But so that's the Canadian model. This is the European model. And this is the GFS. All right, the GFS, this is the American model. It's the most bullish. And if you're a snow lover, this is the one that you need to be rooting for, especially if you're in Indiana, the state of Indianapolis, as I mistakenly said earlier. Northern Ohio or in Michigan. If you hate snow, if you are like the world's like if you just literally hate snow, then you probably need to root for the NAM, especially if you're south of the lakes. The North American model, this is the one that we went through and actually looked at a lot of the different snow totals with. This is the lowest one that I'm seeing, actually. So yeah, if you hate snow, root for that one. But that's the one that I like to show. I like to be conservative because it's better for me to be wrong and be like, hey, you know, you might get 2 inches of snow and then you end up getting 6 because in the situation like this, it doesn't matter, than me saying, well, I think you're going to get a foot of snow and then you actually end up getting only 4 inches. I feel like that's a bigger screw up. I don't know. Prepare for a winter storm of epic proportions. That's my official message to you, because whether or not you get a bunch of snow, you're going to get some dangerous cold, some very, very dangerous cold. And that combined with the snow and the flash freeze is going to cause a whole heck of a lot of problems. If you are just now tuning in, we're talking about the weather. This is what it looks like right now. I just spent the last who knows how long talking about what it's going to look like in the future. And that's what we're doing. I am now monitoring Twitter, twitter.com. I know it's a very controversial place right now, but I'm on there. And what I'm doing is I'm monitoring my notifications, and I want you guys to go follow me and send me pictures and videos of what's going on in your neck of the woods right now, especially if you live where it's snowing, near Denver, in Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. If you live somewhere where it's really cold, if something interesting is happening with the weather, send me a weather report on Twitter. I'll show it here live on the air. We'll have fun. And then we can kind of go from there and just really get an idea of what's going on and let people downstream know what's coming. Because I've already seen some really incredible videos from up near Montana and North Dakota of some just crazy blizzard-like conditions with this storm system that's going on right now. So go to Twitter at Ryan Hall, y'all. Send me your pictures and videos. If you have a Yalla-meter, make sure to include that. Make sure to include that. I'm looking forward to seeing it. This is a good one. The Midwest. It's not the day after. It's tomorrow, guys. It is tomorrow. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that movie. The Day After Tomorrow. It's a good movie. All right, so here's a video from Joseph. Look at this. This is what a lot of your hometowns are going to look like tomorrow, guys. This was I-80 in Fort Bridger, Wyoming today around 1 p.m. Look at that. Look at that. Once again, how many inches of snow are on the ground? Is it 10 or is it 1? It could very well be 1, and it don't matter, because whether it's 10 or 1, it's going to look like this. That's why the accumulation doesn't really matter so much tomorrow. If you're driving around in this, it's not going to be fun. Oh, are we about to hit 900K, or did we hit 900K? Am I missing that? I wanted to show that. I want to make a big deal out of it. Oh boy. All right, real quick. We'll get right back to weather. This is a fun moment. Everybody that's watching right now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. Help us hit 900,000. We're at 899, 339 right now. I think we got 40-something thousand people watching. Lord knows there's, 600 of you, 700 of you that are not subscribed yet. Go ahead and click the button, and let's watch the numbers turn over here. A really huge shout out to everybody who's shown support over the past couple of weeks. Everything is blowing up, and it's because of the massive weather system, and I'm glad that I've been able to help you guys through that and give you information that you need. I truly am humbled and honored that so many people choose some guy on YouTube to get their weather information from. 900,000 people. Wow, that was fast. All right. Thank you guys so much. Really, I appreciate it. We are getting closer and closer and closer to 1 million. I've been doing this for 2 years, almost 2 years now. So it's crazy to me that we're already about to hit 1 million subscribers. And I started another channel not too long ago that's getting ready to hit 200,000. Ryan Hall, y'all extra. So thank you guys so much. Look, we might hit 1 million tonight. Look at that. We're already at 901. Wow. Awesome. Seriously, thank you guys so much. You've given me the best job on earth. Like I'm a huge weather geek. This is what I've always wanted to do. And the fact that I can do it on YouTube and not have to go work at a TV station, wear a suit and only talk about one little region. Boy, that is nice. And I couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. All right, if you're just now tuning in, we are talking about the weather here. I just did the whole forecast, and I got pretty in depth. So if you want to kind of scroll back a little bit, you can look at some of that. Now, what I want to do is just kind of look at the chat a little bit and see what you guys are saying and maybe answer some questions. Now, what I don't want to do, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't want to do this thing where people are like, well, what's the weather going to be like in my hometown? And then I say it, and then somebody asks for the same town, and maybe we can do states. Maybe we can do states, and then I don't know. Maybe we will do towns. I tell you what. Let's do towns. Let's try that out, and then we'll go from there. Or if you have more specific questions about the weather or this system in general, maybe we could help you with that as well. Basically, I just want to go to the chat and see if we can get anything going here. First of all, Satine, thank you so much for becoming a Slight Risk member. Same thing for you, Bradley. You're awesome. I really appreciate all the support. Tonight, see, you just got a veiled shout out on Timcast. I don't know what half of those words mean, but I am super appreciative of that. Let's see here. John Martin is now a Slight Risker. Thank you so much. East Tennessee. Okay. Leg reveal time. Yep. At 1 million subscribers, I'm doing a leg reveal because for all you guys know, you've only ever really seen me from here up. I could be an AI generated, bot that tells you the weather. I honestly don't know. So the only way that we will ever know for sure is if I stand up and show you that I actually have legs. And I'm not doing that until we hit 1 million subscribers. All right. So let's talk about some of the things that are going on here. Let's do some Q&A. Tomorrow, when we do the main stream tomorrow, we are going to have storm chasers. Okay, we're going to have a lot of them. So I just want to make that clear. I want to remind everybody that this is not the main stream. This is just kind of like a little update thing. And we're going to have more. We're going to have more information for you tomorrow. We're going to have, it'll be like a traditional live stream with storm chasers. I'm pretty sure we'll have meteorologist Andy Hill. We'll probably have a news relay. We'll have, right now we're just kind of chilling and talking about the weather and hopefully relaying some good information to y'all. All right. Chat's moving fast. Can you talk about Central Kentucky, Frankfort area? I feel like it's so back and forth. First of all, I agree with you. I agree with you. But in Central Kentucky, I think that's one of those areas where around midnight to 1 a.m., that's when the transition is going to happen from rain to snow. You're going to get 2 to 4 inches. If you're lucky, if you like snow, and you're lucky, you'll get 5 or 6 inches of snow. But the real dangerous part of this is going to be the flash freeze because it's actually going to rain a decent amount before the snow starts. So big layer of ice, couple inches of snow, 2 to 4 inches, and then really strong winds. It's going to look like a blizzard for a period of time. And then the bone chilling wind chills. Okay. After the snow stops, the wind's going to keep going negative 20 degrees almost for 2 days straight with the wind chill. If you have power outages, if you have, travel plans, it's just going to be nuts. It's going to be bad. You don't want to deal with it. That's my opinion on Central Kentucky right now. Here's an awesome submission from Jesse. So I'm in Council Bluffs, Iowa. I'm waiting for this wind to kick in. It's been snowing for a while now. Well, thank you so much, Jesse. And thank you so much for the video report. Love the Christmas lights out there. This is
real quick. We'll get right.
What we are expecting to see. A lot of places, especially in Iowa, you're going to see snow, and it's almost going to be like peaceful snow for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, boom, the wind's going to come through, the snow's going to pick up, and then that's when you'll see your blizzard. And by the way, pretty much the entire state of Iowa is under a blizzard warning right now. So yeah, hopefully you guys are prepared for that. Let's see here. And seriously, you guys send me in your pictures and videos to at Ryan Hall, y'all, on Twitter. We can help spread the weather story here pretty much more quickly and efficiently than anybody else due to this no filter, just nonstop rapid relay of information. We got a winter storm / blizzard update, sorry, from Grimes, Iowa. The calm before the storm in Iowa. I need somebody in Iowa to give me a before and after video. So take a video like this, and you can do this if you're in Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, whatever you want to do. But take a video like this, maybe like just say the time and date, or put like a little text on there, and then flip to the after, like while the blizzard's actually happening. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, the calm before the storm there in Iowa. Thanks for sending that in. What is this? Just outside of Boulder, Colorado, 7,000 feet above sea level in the foothills. What is that? Okay, so it's officially 0 degrees there. My goodness. And the snow is coming down, son. Look at this. Every single person that's watching this right now is a weather reporter. All you got to do is send me a video. The largest network of weather reporters on Earth. True. Now, our guys that ship the Yalameters, they already get the day off for the big storm. Okay, so let's take a look at chat here. There's a lot of things happening in chat. I'm sorry if I miss your question or if I miss your comment. Will southern Oklahoma get snow? News 9 is saying yes. News 9 is saying yes. But is southern Oklahoma actually going to get snow? Let's see what, not News 9, but NAM 3K. Let's see what the NAM 3 kilometer is saying about that. I think that southern Oklahoma definitely has a chance of seeing some snow. I just don't think it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to be very substantial. But let's take a look. Let's shoop-de-whoop. This is the future radar. This is what the radar could look like as we go into the future. That cold front's going to come through Oklahoma starting around 3 a.m. in the morning here. Temperature is going to go below freezing in Oklahoma City around 6 a.m. And yeah, there is going to be a thin band of snow here. Places like Altus and Lawton, the I-44 corridor between Tulsa and Wichita Falls could see a brief hit of snow. And I'm talking brief. Between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning. And then there is going to be another round, a more widespread area of snow that comes through after that. The closer you are to Tulsa, the better chance there is of you actually seeing that snow or it accumulating. But southern Oklahoma, I think, has a very small chance of seeing anything more than like a half an inch. There might be a couple of places that end up with an inch of snow if you get under that right band of snow. But still, all of Oklahoma is going to be experiencing those dangerous wind chills. And, you know, there's going to be a little rain that falls before the snow, so that'll freeze over. So travel's going to be treacherous. Intermittent power outages are going to be a problem. Even if you don't get a bunch of snow in Oklahoma, things could definitely still be, I guess, bad out there. Okay, so hopefully you guys are prepared in Oklahoma. Speaking of Oklahoma, we've got Blake. Blake from Tulsa, Oklahoma says it's nice and warm and 41 degrees outside and shorts and flip-flops. It won't be doing that tomorrow. Yeah, there you go. That's the perfect before and after video All right, shorts and flip-flops in the nice warm weather, and then boom, in Oklahoma, a very brief blizzard. Not really a blizzard, but very brief shot of snow and some much colder air coming through there. Thank you so much for sending that in. And the memes, we love the memes. We're all going to need a bigger coat for this one. Oh, here we go. This is what we want to see. Sam Boyd says, I'm here in northern Montana and it's been snowing all day. Thanks for everything you do. Man, I bet it's cold up there right now. It's cold up there right now. Thanks for sending that in. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Let's see. How far south will the snow get? Let's see. Let me show you how far south I think the snow can get. How about that? If, in my opinion, any real substantial snow will probably not make it farther south than, man, I don't know, Little Rock, Arkansas. Like Memphis has a chance of seeing some snow. Nashville has a real chance of seeing some snow. The mountains in Georgia, North Carolina, East Tennessee, and Virginia have a chance of seeing some snow. All of the state of Missouri has a good chance of seeing actually some decent snow. But if you get south of this line right here, very, very small chance of seeing anything good. Now, all through central Alabama, Mississippi, even into northern parts of Louisiana and Texas, possibly even into South Carolina and North Carolina, flurries are definitely possible, but real substantial snow, I think, in excess of a half an inch to an inch is not going to be a thing north of Little Rock, Arkansas. That line right there, in my opinion. Will Wisconsin have blizzard warnings issued? Possibly. I'm honestly kind of surprised that they haven't already gotten some. But here's the thing, even if you don't get a blizzard warning in Wisconsin, it's going to be a blizzard for some period of time, especially in southwestern Wisconsin. Right in here from like Eau Claire to Madison, that area. I mean, it's going to be a blizzard. I don't know what like the official criteria is for the National Weather Service to issue the warning. I probably should know that. And I could probably Google it real quick, but whatever that criteria is, it may not be being met. But it's not going to make a difference to you if it's a mile an hour on the wind gusts or visibility or whatever. It's still going to be a blizzard. So Ryan Hall has issued a y'all blizzard watch for yins over there in southwestern Wisconsin. So do with that what you will. Any Andy snow numbers? I think that Andy would probably agree with the National Weather Service. If we'll go through the National Forecast database here just in a second for the official forecast, but I don't think we have Andy right now. Yeah, we don't have Andy right now, but I think we will have him some tomorrow. It's just me right now. But we'll go through the National Forecast database right here in a minute. My goodness, y'all are tearing it up in the chat. First of all, I do want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in. I know it's 9:30 on the East Coast, and we're talking about weather here. I've been going for a while, and I know there's a lot of people who are sending comments right now who think I'm ignoring them, but just look at how fast this is going. Let's see here. Tyler 123 says, I trust you more than Oklahoma News 9. Well, I appreciate that, but that's where Mike Morgan is, right? Mike Morgan's a good one now. Okay, we can't be dissing Mike Morgan. I'm good friends with a lot of TV meteorologists, and I want everybody to know that me being the YouTube weather guy here is in no way me trying to replace your TV weather guy. I have no beef with any TV weather people. In fact, I look up to a lot of them, especially James Spann. I'm doing my own thing here. This is separate from that. Don't forget how vulnerable the South is to this. Thanks for all you do. Yes, the South is definitely susceptible to this. I made a graphic the other day, and actually, I probably need to change it. I probably need to update it. But you Southerners, how many Southerners do we have watching right now? You guys are going to appreciate this probably more than people farther north. But I put this graphic together that shows the milk and bread kind of situation. If you're in the light blue, you're under a milk and bread advisory. If you're in the blue, you're under a milk and bread watch. And if you're in the pink, you're in the milk and bread warning. Notice how far south that milk and bread advisory goes. It's not because there's not going to be the same amount of snow in Memphis, Tennessee as some places in South Dakota. That's not why they're under the same level of milk and bread advisory. It's because less snow would require you to go to the store and get your milk and bread in Memphis, Tennessee versus, someplace in South Dakota. It's a very scientific and specific algorithm that goes into making this very official outlook that I put together here. But yeah, in the South, in a lot of places, if there is going to be snow, even if it's just a little bit, milk and bread is sold out at all the stores. So I just assume that people, for whatever reason, love milk sandwiches, and everybody's just having milk sandwiches during the snowstorm or something. I don't know, man. All right, let's see here. Who's going to get the worst of the storm? I'm on the east side of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, or the west side of Michigan. So the western side of Michigan is definitely going to get the worst of the storm if we're comparing those two areas, but both zones are going to have problems. Both zones are going to have a blizzard at some point. Both zones are going to have extremely detrimental travel problems. And there's not going to be a whole lot of difference, but the eastern or the western side of Michigan is going to have the added problem of the extended lake effect snow that happens afterwards. So yeah, both areas are going to see a lot of snow and a lot of wind and a lot of cold air, but the lake effect is going to dump it on Michigan more. And you can see that happen here on the model. Let me pull this forward. Look at that. Look at that, man. Shoo. Everybody south of the lakes, we go through the cold front. We're going to freeze. We're going to get some snow, and then we're going to be cold for a while, but we're done. But these guys up here, it doesn't stop for them. I feel sorry for you. Let's see here. Hey, Daver78, thank you for the very generous super chat. I'm watching from Ohio, just south of Kopic's hometown. Keep up with the great work. Thank you, Daver. I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, but we always appreciate it. Let's see here. Which NFL game will be the coldest on Saturday and Sunday? Oh, I don't know. Somebody send me the NFL schedule. I don't know. I don't keep up. Hold on. I'm looking it up. I'm going to figure this out. Okay. So there's a game. All right. Somebody tell me in boardroom or water cooler, please, so I can figure it out. Carbonated water. But I will let you know. We'll do the NFL forecast here in a second. Lots of snowfall colors in Michigan. What's it looking like for the Flint, Michigan, central Michigan area? This is where I actually think we're going to have the least amount of problems, but it's still going to be detrimental. We're talking about 4 to 8 inches of snow, strong winds, and definitely some travel impacts. 100%. But not as bad as Western Michigan, if that makes sense. Let's see. My goodness. The Oklahoma governor has declared a state of emergency. Really? I gotta take a look. Twitter. The Oklahoma. I know there's been a couple of states that have issued states of emergencies. But I'm not seeing any. Not seeing any news on that. I'm sure that's true though. Oh, here's something cool. Incredible footage of the cold front covering Denver. It gets good at 19 seconds. This is what we need tomorrow. This is what we need tomorrow. If anybody's watching right now that's going to be tuning in tomorrow, if you have the ability to create time lapses, let's see the time lapses, because we're going to see a lot of imagery like this throughout the country tomorrow. Look at that. You can literally see the cold front. Literally, you can see the cold front coming in. How crazy is that? This is in Denver earlier. And Rosemarie posted this to Twitter. I'm going to retweet that. And so you're seeing a lot of the dust there. It's not going to look exactly like this, like in Missouri, for example. But, you know, especially whenever that rain and snow transition starts taking place, it'll definitely be visible out there. Crazy, crazy stuff. Missouri has the National Guard activated. My goodness, we probably should have put together the research team and everybody tonight. No, not really. This is, once again, this is just a quick update. This is a quick update. Tomorrow is when the main event is occurring and when we will do the mainstream. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. A 40-degree temperature difference within 30 minutes. This is from Cheyenne, Wyoming earlier. It was 40 degrees. Look at this. Can you guys see this? It was 40 degrees Fahrenheit at 1:05 p.m. today. And then at 1:35, it was 3 degrees. So this is the same cold front that's going to sweep through the rest of the U.S. tonight into tomorrow, dropping the temperature by 40 degrees in 30 minutes. What's even more interesting than that is the 30 degree and like 10 minute thing. Like, look at this. It went from 43 to 11 in like 10 minutes. Can you imagine? Is that even possible? What does that feel like? It's literally like, it's kind of like the not really, but it's like the closest thing I've ever heard of to that scene in the movie The Day After Tomorrow where everything just like freezes like in a wave. Obviously this isn't that, but that's nuts. That's crazy. 32 degrees in 9 minutes. 32 degrees in 9 minutes. You could literally feel the temperature decreasing. Wow. Nuts. We will have all kinds of crazy stuff like that to talk about tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's going to be a long day tomorrow. I really appreciate y'all for sending in your pictures and videos on Twitter. Remember, at Ryan Hall, y'all, on Twitter if you want to send me something. Lots of people are watching from Iowa right now. This comes from Trevor, 8:22 p.m. here in Iowa. We'll keep you updated as it gets better. Is that what he said? As it gets better. Trevor is ready for the blizzard. He's rooting for it. He says as it gets better, not as it gets worse. Look at that. Snow already falling. It's so peaceful right now, but it's not going to be when that wind picks up, man. It is not going to be. Oh, yeah, here's the scene. This is what I'm talking about. Me when the great cold front of 22. Me when the temperature drops 32 degrees in 9 minutes. Oh, this is a good one. Fan says, my car today. This is in Michigan. Taylor Wilcox says the before in Gladstone, Michigan. So we're getting a lot of befores. And then tomorrow we'll see all the afters, I reckon. Here's the calm before the storm in Nashville, Tennessee from Pettis Weather. At Ryan Hall, y'all. I love the Christmas decorations. And here we go. Here we go. Cyclone Mama says, hubby doesn't want to risk losing it in the blizzard. This is the Yolometer 2.0. There are thousands of these things out there in circulation, so hopefully we see them in use tomorrow. I would use it as a tool that measures snow in multiple locations tomorrow. A lot of people are like fastening them to things and then like putting them in their yards, which is awesome. Like it's a good idea. Like that's actually, you could do that. But what they're made for is to measure snow in multiple locations, because that's how you actually measure snow. Like you're not supposed to just stick the ruler in and measure it once and blah, blah, blah. You're supposed to get like a group of measurements and then average them out. So this is supposed to be like a ruler that you use to measure snow in multiple locations. So anyways, beautiful Yolometer there. Thank you so much for buying it and supporting. I know a lot of people bought them hoping that to get them soon, and we've been trying our best, but I don't know how many are actually going to get there by tomorrow. Oh, here we go. You see, this is one, and total snow on the ground currently in Bloomington, Minnesota. Right now, it's snowing and totally calm. The calm before the storm tomorrow. So there's already like almost a foot of snow on the ground in Bloomington, Minnesota. You're going to add to that quite a bit. And here's just west of Onawa, Iowa. All right, let's take a look at this again. I have a Davis weather station at my home that my local weatherman uses for reporting. I've seen Davis stuff. How can I get my station data on there? I would email them. I don't know. I don't think they have like a program right now where that's like a thing that you can do. But if you email them and ask, I'm sure that they would talk to you about it. What between Madison and Milwaukee? I think that you guys are going to experience a blizzard at some point, probably between midnight tonight through like 7 in the morning. Maybe over 8 inches of snow, and then just really, really intense cold temperatures after that. Should North Carolina be preparing for ice as an after effect? Yeah, in North Carolina, pretty much anywhere that gets rain followed by this cold front, get ready for a flash freeze, because it's going to happen. All right, if you get rain first, it's actually worse than just start getting all snow. So just keep that in mind. Any chance of snow in New York, Long Island? Very slight, very slight. You might get some flurries. We will totally do that tomorrow. Hubby loves his shirt and the coffee too. Hey, Stacy, thank you so much for all the support. You got some Nader Beans coffee, a Yolometer, and a shirt. That's awesome. Hello from Iowa. Man, how many people do we have watching from Iowa right now? Dang. I love it. I love it. It feels like everybody's from Iowa. Hey, Ryan, I subbed to this channel just now. Wow. Hopefully everybody is prepared for the remainder of the event, watching from Hocking County, Ohio, an hour south of Columbus. Hey, thank you guys so much for all the support. Why is Michigan getting lower wind chill forecast than the rest of the U.S.? I think I know what you're talking about. That's interesting. Let's take a look at the wind chill forecast here. Let's do that. Let's do it. By the way, this is a great time for me to remind you, I'm going to keep doing this for a little while longer. If everybody can come together and share the link to this stream on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, send it in a text message to a family member or friend. We can get new people in here. I'm going to go over the forecast again, and hopefully we can inform even more people that way. So go ahead and help us share the video out, and I'm going to go through the whole thing again, and then hopefully literally everybody on Earth or everybody in the U.S. that wants to be informed on what's happening here will be by the time this stream is done. So yeah, if you can help me out, just copy the link and share it, or just slap the like button on this video right now, or this stream right now, like you would a normal video, and the YouTube algorithm should pump us out there and we can help people out. All right, so let me show you the wind chills. This is really interesting. I want to show you something that really pertains to what we were talking about earlier. Somebody asked about, why are we referring to this cold air mass as a storm? And that's not the case, because this is a storm. The storm is bringing the cold air mass with it. And if I can work my brain here for just 2 seconds and find what I'm trying to look for, I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So why is Michigan getting, why is it not going to get as cold in some parts of Michigan? I think that's what you're asking. I've been getting this question like crazy, especially on TikTok. On TikTok, I made a video about this. It's got like 16 million views right now, and all the comments are like, man, is Lake Michigan, is something going on with the terrain that's like protecting Michigan from this cold air? And that's not necessarily the case. What's happening here, and by the way, this is Michigan up here. This is the big cold front that's coming through. What's happening is really interesting. It's not that the cold air is just purposefully kind of sliding down and missing Michigan and kind of curling around like that. That's the low pressure system. All right, so there's a low pressure center right here. It's rotating counterclockwise, and it's actually sucking in the warmer air like this. It's sucking in the warm air here, and that's why the wind chills and the colder air is kind of undercutting Michigan. You've got the warm sector here, and then the cold air coming in underneath it. All right, so some people really look at this as if it's just cold air kind of spilling across the U.S. That's not what's happening. We have a big storm system here that's rotating, and the rotation has helped bringing the cold air down, but it's also wrapping in warmer air on this side. And that motion is kind of really making, now don't get me wrong, it's not going to be warm. This is not warm in here, but a warmer bubble is forming underneath the low pressure center as the cold front occludes off to the east. So yeah, that's how that's going to work. It's pivoting off as the occlusion occurs. And don't get me wrong, it's still going to get cold in Michigan. You guys are not going to dodge a bullet. It's just going to take longer for that cold air to get there. Freak tornadoes? I don't think so. I think any tornadoes that we get are going to happen out to sea. There'll probably be a lot of water spouts out there in the Atlantic Ocean. So once again, if you know any fish, let them know. Let them know of the dangers of what could be coming of this storm here for them. And once again, I really hope that everybody understands that I can't read every message in chat, and I'm not purposefully trying to miss your question if it seems like I'm ignoring you. There's a lot of people here, and I just can't read all of them. I'm trying my best to get to as many of them as possible, though. Pennsylvania snow? Yeah. Yeah, it'll probably snow some in Pennsylvania. This is a good time to check on the official National Digital Forecast database. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Give me just a second. Just want to make sure it's updated and to the point where we need it to be. I think it is. Okay, yeah. So this is the official National Weather Service forecast, which is once again a very conservative forecast. And it doesn't even go through the whole storm. But in Pennsylvania, the NWS is forecasting like 4 to 5 inches of snow up here in northwestern Pennsylvania. The closer you get to the Appalachian Mountains, we're 4 or 5 inches of snow over here as well. There's a big hole here where it seems like there's like no snow expected, or maybe 1 inch around Pittsburgh. I think that's underdone. I think you guys will see a little bit more than that. But yeah, that's the official National Weather Service forecast there for Pennsylvania. I think a lot of places will see over 4 inches, especially if you're on the northwestern side of the Appalachian Mountains, and we get a good burst of lake moisture that hits those mountains during that cold front occlusion. The fact of the matter is, though, it's not nobody in Pennsylvania, unless you're up here really close to the lake, nobody's getting a ton of snow out of this. And nobody in the Northeast is at all either. North of the Capital District, 8-9 inches is possible. And if you're near one of the lakes and you're going to be getting in on some of that lake effect snow, you could definitely get substantial snow. But this is not a big, massive snowstorm. It never was. I think some people may have thought that it was going to be, and it is. I guess it is going to be for a lot of people up here to the north. We're going to see well over 2 feet of snow in a lot of Michigan. All right, especially in western Michigan. But for the rest of us, this is going to be a quick hit of snow. Lots of 3 to 6 inch kind of totals in this area right here. And the biggest problem is going to be the wind chills, and what comes along with that, because that's dangerous, man, especially during the busiest travel time period of the year. This is gonna cause like just a ton of problems, whether you got 3 inches of snow on the ground or 8. So yeah, there's that. And by the way, I don't know what's going on here, but the National Weather Service in western Michigan over here near Grand Rapids, they're just not, it doesn't exist. There is no forecast. What's up? It's going to snow so much, the NWS, the National Weather Service, just gave up, guys. I'm sorry. And that's true in western Michigan. This is going to be one of the hardest hit areas. You can see that the official forecast, which once again could be conservative, meaning that there could actually more than likely be more snow than this. And when all things are said and done, near Traverse City, they're forecasting 23, 24 inches, 27 inches up here to the north and east of Traverse City. But the data's just gone. Here. Somebody near Muskegon or Grand Rapids could probably end up with over 28 inches of snow by the time the lake effect is done. By the time that's all set and done. This is a current look at the radar right now. Doesn't look too threatening, but things are just now starting to ramp up. Things are just now starting to really ramp up out there. Let's see here. What else we got? What do you think we will wake up to in Omaha tomorrow morning? I run around in rural Iowa. Tomorrow morning in Omaha, there's a good chance. Let's pull back up the weather models here. Let's go back to the NAM 3K. Why? Because it's conservative. Because it's not. There's other models I could show you that are going to show crazy things, more exciting things, but I'm not trying to do that right now. I'm trying to keep expectation. I'm trying to be realistic here. So the NAM 3 kilometer is going to be a good one to look at for that. Okay, Omaha, Nebraska. Snow's going to start around midnight tonight with the cold front coming through. This is when the wind's going to start to pick up as well. And then the snow's going to pick up between, let's say, 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. By the time you wake up between 7 and 8, the snow's going to be done. It's going to be over with. You might have a couple of inches of snow on the ground, but it might still look like a blizzard, because even with, I don't know how many times I've said this so far today, and I'm sorry if I'm getting repetitive here. But even with only an inch or two of snow on the ground in Omaha, Nebraska tomorrow morning, when it's negative 20 degrees and the wind is howling, and it's very fine snow. That snow's going to be blowing around, and it's going to be like a blizzard. Driving's going to be difficult. Travel is going to be difficult. Now, don't get me wrong. The farther we go into the day, 2-3 p.m. road crews, and things will start to calm down. It'll get easier. It'll start to be easier to move around. But when you wake up in the morning, it is going to be quite a mess out there in Omaha, Nebraska, even though it's not going to snow that much. Most of the snow is going to start occurring over here. Around 2 p.m. tomorrow, we're going to have heavy snow from Springfield, Missouri, up through St. Louis into places like Davenport, Chicago, Madison. Really intense kind of snow kind of sitting up here between 2 and 4 p.m. This run shows more moisture on the southern side of the storm. Still going to snow a lot in Wisconsin. Still going to be very windy here, but look at that cold front, man. Man, that is loaded. This run looks a little slower. This is new data. We haven't looked at this yet. How exciting. We're watching the new model data come out together. Look at that. This looks a little bit slower, a little bit juicier, especially during the cold front progression. What does this mean for Indianapolis? There's so many different ways that this is different. I'm going to wait until this model's done. Right now, it only goes out to 5 a.m. on Friday. I'm going to wait until this is done before I look at the snow totals. But I would imagine that this run increases the total snowfall for this area. Oh, one of our team members, Riley, is out there on the roads. I think he's on his way to see family or something. But he is in Owatonna. He's up there in Minnesota, and this is what it looks like out there. This is on Old 14 near Owatonna. Well, thank you, Riley, for sending that in, and make sure you're being careful out there, man. Dangerous road conditions for sure. That was from Riley. I'm pretty sure I had permission to share that, right, Riley? Thank you very much. Oh. Let's see here. Yeah, if you're just now tuning in, we're talking about the weather here. We're watching the weather models come out. We're just having a good old time. I am going to do another live stream tomorrow, marathon coverage of the great cold front of 2022 with storm chasers on the ground. We'll be talking to these guys. We'll be showing you the road conditions. We'll be having input from meteorologist Andy Hill, maybe even meteorologist Heidi Oberlin. It'll just be, there'll be more people involved, and we'll have a lot of stuff going on. And hopefully we'll have a lot of you guys sending in pictures of your Yala meters. We'll have our snow competition or our measurement competition or whatever. If you send in a picture of you measuring the snow, you'll be entered to win $1,000. I'm just going to cash app somebody $1,000 at the end of the stream. I mean, can you get that watching the Weather Channel? I think not, son. All right, here we go. Here's Houghton, Michigan, with a Yala meter on the ground there. Already got 3 or 4 inches. Now, what in the world you doing up there in Michigan with a mini? Up there in Houghton, Michigan, he's got the mini. This is going to be covered up, man. I hope you know. You're not going to be able to see that thing by the time this is all said and done. We've got a 12-incher, a 30-incher, and a 42-incher. And the 12-incher we call the Yala meter mini. But beautiful. Oh, well, there we go. It looks like it already was covered up there. Love it. It's beautiful, man. Thank you so much for sending that in. The calm before the storm, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be buried. It's absolutely going to be buried. Peter sending in some data. Peter says, I can confirm the temperature drop earlier from Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is from my home weather station, 43.1 to 19.4 degrees in the first 10 minutes. What was that like, Peter? Were you outside for this? Because I just literally can't imagine that. Like, that's nuts. Has that happened? That's crazy. 43 to 19 in 10 minutes, 1 hour and 20 minutes ago. Wow. It's currently negative 13. 43 to 19 in 10 minutes. Whew. Literally like being in a slightly chilly room and then walking into a freezer, but it's just happening around you in the atmosphere. Nuts. Nuts. Uh-oh, Jacob, you ain't gonna be doing this tomorrow, son, or this earlier in the morning tomorrow. I'll tell you that. Jacob says, I'm enjoying the Iowa weather before the cold front moves in. He's in flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. Obviously, I never in a million years advised doing this tomorrow, but please don't try to give me a before and after of this picture. Please. Because talk about frostbite, son. By the way, I'm looking through Twitter. If you want to send me a picture or a video of what's going on in your neck of the woods right now, you can do so on Twitter at Ryan Hall, y'all. Tomorrow, when we do the official Y'all-o-meter competition, you can send in pictures on Twitter and through the email pics@ryanhallyall.com. Love your Christmas lights there, Brian. This is in Pella, Iowa. Man, I think the whole state of Iowa is watching right now. I am pretty sure the whole state of Iowa is watching right now. Well, probably not, but close. Oh, this is in this is in January in California. Yeah, I see it. I see it on Twitter. Y'all are sharing like crazy. Thanks for helping getting the word out about the stream. I think we got a lot of people watching, so that's good. Keep asking your questions. I'm going to get back to answering some of them right here in a second. I know there's a lot of them. This is a massive storm. Hundreds of millions of people are going to be negatively impacted by this storm. And it's something that we haven't seen in a long time. And it'll probably be a long time before we ever see anything like it again, especially specifically talking about this map. Oops, what am I doing here, son? Open image in new tab. This map. Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be bigger snowstorms. There's going to be more snowstorms. There's going to be more blizzards. But seeing this much of the country under some sort of warning, watch, or advisory because of one storm is nuts. This is the most widespread, most impactful storm I have ever seen in my lifetime. This is a meteorological historic situation. Where everybody in the orange here is under a blizzard warning, everybody in the pink is under a winter storm warning, and then everybody in this lighter blue out here is under a wind chill warning. We've got a hard freeze warning for the Gulf Coast. Like just saying that out loud just sounds crazy. We got a winter storm watch and lots of winter storm advisories out here through the Mid-Atlantic and Appalachian mountain regions, and maybe even a couple of flood watches up here the farther north you go. So this is just an absolutely massive storm that obviously everybody's concerned about. But I want to reiterate what I said earlier in the stream and say that this is not the end of the world, okay? There's a lot of media hype. There's a lot of stuff going on around this storm, and whenever information starts flowing like crazy, things get chopped up. It's not the end of the world. It's going to get cold. It's going to get dangerous. There's going to be some power outages. Travel's going to be tough. But, some places are going to see some snow. But the snow will eventually melt. Power will come back on. The temperature is going to warm back up. It's not the end of the world. It's just one of those storms. You know, we have to deal with this every once in a while in America. Mid-latitude cyclones, winter storms, trough ejections. They happen. Sometimes they're more impactful and stronger than others. This is going to be one of the more intense ones that we see, hopefully for a while. So yeah, hopefully that's comforting to hear, because sometimes it's easier just to talk about the negatives. I think that it's good to mention the positives at least a little bit too. So let's come back over here and let's see if we've got anything else out there. Hey, look, Nico, look at this. Nico has put together something for us with the NFL games. I appreciate this. Detroit Lions at Carolina Panthers Saturday at 1 p.m. It's going to be 33 degrees and it's going to feel like 27. So that's not bad for a football game. That's not bad at all. Las Vegas at Pittsburgh on Saturday. That one's going to be a little rough. 8 degrees with a wind chill of -14. So Vegas, the Raiders versus the Steelers on Saturday at 8:15. That's going to be a cold one. With winds, whenever that gusts up to 32 miles an hour, we're going to get close to a -20 wind chill. Seattle at Kansas. Let's see. That's going to be 12 degrees. Real feel of -4. It looks to me like the most brutal. Oh, never mind. Whew. New Orleans. The Saints at the Browns Saturday at 1 p.m. 11 degrees with a wind chill of 21 below zero. Woof. 30-mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 63. That one, I would not like to be in the audience for that one. I'll go ahead and say that. Man, the Bills at the Chicago Bears. Bills are used to this, but still going to be rough. 12 degrees with a real feel wind chill of -13. So some very cold football games. The most brutal one is definitely going to be that the Cleveland one, and then the Pittsburgh one. So there you go. NFL forecast. Carter says that me and my Yalameter are ready for tomorrow. Ready the Yalameters, y'all. Dust them off, polish them up. Tomorrow's going to be their first real use case, I guess, at least for a lot of you. Oh wow, look at this. It drifted so bad here in Dickinson, North Dakota. There's no good place to take decent measurements. So I'll show off the crazy drifts. We might need a Yalameter Mega. So this is the Yalameter Extra. It goes up to 42 inches. And it looks like already 20 of it's covered up there. Whoa. Dang. So this is probably going to continue to be a problem tomorrow. You know, even if you only got a couple inches of snow, you know, in some of these places there's going to be drifts. So it'll be 6 inches deep in one spot and 1 inch deep in another spot. But there you go, a 42-inch Yalameter almost completely covered up. We might need a 70-incher or something at some point. I don't know how we'd ship that. We'd have to probably break it into 2 parts or something. Oh, dude. Yes. Now this is the setup. This is in North Wrightston. I love it. I love it, man. Please tell me you're going to do a time lapse of this. The first flakes are flying 5 miles north. I've got my Yalameter, tape measure, snowboard, and shovel to clear the snowboard if needed between 1 or 2 rounds. I'll update throughout the week as needed. That is so cool. That is so cool. This is like the most official snow measuring setup you could possibly have. I have yet to see one better than Intellect's. All right. Okay. A huge shout out to Mike. Everybody say thank you to Mike. That's a very generous super chat there. He says thank you. We say thank you to you. If it wasn't for people like you, we couldn't sit here and do some of the things we do, especially tomorrow with the team and everything involved. So very much appreciated. John says, if the Chasers are going to be in southeastern Michigan, I will feed them. They can meet me and keep restoring the electricity here. Rugs. Oh, okay. I see. You put your email in there, but thankfully it cut it off, so I didn't just broadcast it to everybody. But if you can figure out, if you can message me directly through my website, we'll figure out a way to make that happen. That's very generous of you. Thank you for offering that. Brian has been a member for 8 months. Can we revisit the Kuchera models, Ryan? Absolutely. You know we can. Let's see here. Can you cover South Texas? Wind and temperatures for the next few days. Thanks for what you do. Have definitely helped my coworkers and myself in the past. Yeah, we can cover South Texas, and we'll look at the Kuchera models again. Let's just go ahead and jump right into talking about Texas on the models. And South Texas, even all the way down to the southern tip. Now, starting around Austin, point south, we're not going to get below 0 with our wind chills, but we will be from 0 to 10, maybe 15 degrees. There's really no chance of precipitation, and the timing is, once again, around Austin, noon tomorrow, and then all the way down to the southern tip of Texas by midnight Friday. That's the progression of the cold front there. The coldest it's going to get is right around 0 degrees the farther north you are, and the warmest it will remain is around 20 degrees with the wind chill at the southern portion of the state there. So there's your update on that. And then Kuchera. Yeah, let's take a look at the Kuchera models, or the snow totals based off the Kuchera ratio. And let's do that now. Surface winter, Kuchera. This is the GFS's take on how much snow you could get. So everything that I've been showing you so far has been kind of like on the low end, a conservative side. So just for fun, nobody share this on weather Twitter, okay? People start like getting all mad at me and stuff. But just for fun, let's take a look at the worst case scenario here for snow totals. How about into Indianapolis, around 11 inches of snow? This is the GFS model. It's a lower resolution model than a lot of the data that we're looking at. So that's why I don't take a lot of stock in it right at this point. But it's what it's doing is, instead of saying the liquid to snow ratio is 10 to 1, instead of 1 inch of liquid equals 10 inches of snow, it's adjusting for the temperature. And I think that's a smart thing to do, because this is not going to be 10 to 1 ratios out here. Okay. we are not going to have 10 to 1 ratios. Every snowflake is going to stick. So, in a worst case scenario with some of the higher snow totals, we definitely could see a close to a foot of snow in Indianapolis, but it's still unlikely. Same thing for a lot of northwestern Ohio. The whole state of Michigan could see over a foot of snow in a worst case scenario. And then, so yeah, if you're in the pink, pretty much that's showing above 10 inches. If you're in the purple and above, that's above 6 inches. The light blue to dark blue we're talking about 2 to 6 inches. So yeah, there you go. That's some of the higher potential snow totals that we could see out of this. But once again, I don't know if that's the way this is going to go. The GFS is definitely slower. It's less progressive, and it kind of digs down the snow a little bit more. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's definitely a possibility, but I'm trying to lower your expectations. Tennessee. So like people are saying, do Tennessee. Tennessee is on this map. Let me flip it back to the snow map here. Tennessee is on this map. It's right here. And as you can see, the farther north you go, some people could see up to 5 inches of snow, worst case scenario. And then the farther south you go, the less snow you're likely to see. Around Memphis, 2-3 inches is possible. Not likely, but possible. So, yeah, there you go. Eastern Tennessee has a lesser chance of seeing snow, especially if you're in the spine of the mountains or points east. It looks like Columbus will get some good rain, then quickly freeze. How bad do you think it'll be? I think it'll be pretty bad. I think in Columbus, especially, you are going to see some rain, and then you're going to very quickly see that rain freeze, leading to obviously some travel difficulties. And then on top of that, you're going to see several inches of snow. According to this model, maybe up to 6, 7, 8 inches of snow. And then you're going to have negative 20-degree wind chills for a sustained period of time. So Columbus, Ohio, I do think it's going to be pretty bad. It's not, once again, it's not going to be the end of the world if you're in your house and you keep power and you turn the heat on, you're going to be all right. But if you lose power, things could get a little gnarly out there. And we'll actually go over some of that data here in a second. One of our lovely team members has compiled some information about that. I think that's shared. Oh yeah, here's some stuff. Kinsey, the wonderful Kinsey, has prepared this graphic for us. Things to keep in your vehicle during winter, just in case you got to be driving around in a situation like this. Hopefully you don't. Please don't. But if you have to, and you get stranded, you get stuck, you break down in a blizzard like this, you're going to wish you had some of this stuff in your trunk or in the back or something like that. Some water, first aid kit, blankets, roadside flares, jumper cables, a bag of kitty litter, sand, or road salt, very important, a spare tire, obviously, a snow brush and shovel, or one or the other, a flashlight, snacks, and tow straps, and a full tank of gas. Before you take off, make sure you've got a full tank of gas. Very, very important. Could save your life. Prepare your vehicle for winter travel. Pack an emergency kit, first aid, jumper cables, etc., etc. Inspect your wiper blades and replace them if they appear worn. Get your battery tested. Make sure your headlights work, including hazards. Check your oil, coolant, antifreeze, and check your air pressure and wear on your tires. Very cool stuff. From the Shop Ryan Hall page there. So thank you for that. There was another one about keeping your house warm when the power went out. I don't know what happened to it. I think I'm about to find it though. I think I'm about to find it here in 3, 2, 1. Yep, here we go. I've got it. This is all important stuff, guys. It sounds cliche. A lot of people probably already know about this stuff, but some people don't. Some people just might not be thinking about it right now. So I just think I like to talk about it. Winterize your home. You want to test your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, especially if you're using, some sort of additional heat through gas, kerosene, propane, whatever it is. Make sure your attic is well insulated. Clean the gutters out. Make sure there's weather stripping on windows and doors. Insulate all exposed pipes. Gather supplies together. Staying warm when the power goes out. This is the one that I thought was really useful. Try to prevent cold air from getting inside by stuffing towels in the cracks and under doors. That's actually, like, if your power goes out and it's negative 20 degrees outside, you seriously do this. It sounds ridiculous, but actually do this. It's going to help. And the faster you do it after the heat stops running, the better off you're going to be. Keep the curtains and blinds closed. Keep interior doors closed for each room to avoid wasting heat. And be careful with candles and space heaters as they're a fire risk. We always see stuff like that break out during situations like this. And practice portable generator safety. Use only outdoors, at least 20 feet away from garages, windows, and doors, and bundle up. Love it. Keep your pets warm. Keep your pets warm and dry and inside as much as possible. Outdoor animals need to have proper shelter. Dry them off when they come inside, and don't forget their paws, and make sure they have plenty of food and water. I have a Siberian Husky. Okay, we are getting ready to experience a Siberian cold front. I thought, hey, listen, hey, she's gonna love that, man. She's gonna remind her of home. But that's not the case. Even a Siberian Husky needs to come inside, or at least be in some area that's warmer if it's going to be 10 to 5 degrees or lower outside. So keep that in mind. And that's a Siberian Husky. So it's important we take care of our pets during times like this. And yeah, I'm glad I was told otherwise. Let's see. Let's come back over here to the chat. By the way, thanks to everybody who's supporting. Like, this is awesome. You don't have to pay to talk to me. It's just like the chat's moving pretty quick, and I want to make sure that we cover all of these super chats. But I am also trying to answer as many non-super chats as possible. Like, it's just like these big highlighted ones are a lot easier to focus on. Smoky Biscuit says, thanks again for all the coverage during the tornado outbreak. This stream is what saved a friend in New Orleans. Please keep doing what you do. It makes a difference. Smokey, thank you so much for that. And of course, I am going to keep doing what I'm doing. I love this. This is seriously, you guys have given me the best job in the world. So I'll never not do this as long as you guys want me to do it. And I'm glad that we could help out your friend in New Orleans. And once again, thanks to you guys. We sent Chris Hall down there, and we bought like thousands of dollars worth of generators and tarps and, flashlights, whatever people needed. And we were able to get those to people who needed them. And literally just because you guys are always supporting me and getting stuff from the website and doing stuff like super chats and stuff like that. No red tape, no government wait, I was like, hey, Chris, like, here's my credit card. Go to Home Depot and just spend all kinds of money and then give it to people who just got hit by a tornado. Right after it happened, we were able to do it. The mayor and the constable and the city officials down there thanked us, and it's very cool. And we couldn't do it without y'all. So I can't get over that. That's one of the coolest things about what we're doing here. Jake Carter says, Ryan, always grateful for your live streams. Could you speak on the weather coming into Boise, Idaho on the backside of the system? I've seen it on the models, but I haven't heard many predictions. So one of the things, another cool thing to talk about here is the cold air. What am I doing? Surface temperature. My brain just sometimes it works and then sometimes it doesn't. Right now is one of the times where it doesn't. So give me just a second. Okay. Boise, Idaho. So one of the crazy things about what's happening here is as this cold air comes down into the U.S., the Rocky Mountains, it's kind of like acting as a wall and stopping a lot of the cold air seemingly from making it into the southwestern U.S. So Christmas, and the days leading up to Christmas are going to actually be quite nice in the southwestern U.S. In some places, it'll be above average as far as the temperature goes. And you can thank this kind of invisible wall here for that. But some of the cold air is going to leak through into places like Boise, Idaho, and places like Albuquerque, New Mexico and stuff. But Boise, what you've got is tonight and into the early morning hours tomorrow. That's when it's going to be the coldest for you. And then kind of quickly, things are going to start warming back up. Now, it's not going to get warm, but things are going to definitely start trending above average as early as Christmas Eve. So on the backside of this storm, look at this. Look at this. We're getting toasty in the western U.S. as the rest of us on Christmas Day and the day after are still freezing our butts off over here in the eastern. So this map shows us temperature anomaly. How far above or below average are the temperatures going to be? The purples and the blues over here, we're talking about anywhere from 10 to 30 degrees below average. And then over here, we're looking at 10 to 30 degrees above average in some places in the western U.S. And this is on December 26th. So the cold air is going to stick around for a long time in the East Coast. But eventually, things are going to warm right back up for a lot of us. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that nuts? From like the coldest air ever to like some actually substantially warm air right after that. The cycle never ends in the continental U.S. We go back and forth. Back and forth, back and forth. And obviously, the farther into the future I go here, the more wishy-washy this becomes and the less we can trust it. But the general pattern does support a general warm-up as we get closer to the new year. Let's see if there's any fantasy snowstorms as we go deeper into the GFS here. No, the next big weather system looks to come into the West Coast probably around Wednesday, December 28th. We might end up talking about this one right around New Year's. So subscribe to the channel. Hopefully I get to take a break through Christmas. And then after Christmas, we might start talking about this next storm system here that'll come through around January 1st. This looks to me like maybe a severe weather maker. It's hard to tell right now. Potentially in the deep south. This is way too far out to be talking about specifics, but I'm just kind of getting an idea here. But yeah, that'll be the next weather system that we talk about. And then there's another one behind that. I don't see anything crazy. I don't see anything this crazy in the near future. So that's good. That's good. The current storm that we're looking at is the craziest thing that we have to deal with for a while. That's always good news. No snow in the Richmond, Lexington, Kentucky corridor. What are you talking about, son? There it is. It'll be snowing in Richmond and Lexington. It'll start around 11 p.m. tomorrow, and it'll get really heavy around midnight, and then it'll be done by 3 a.m. But it will snow. It's just going to be a real quick hitter in Lexington, Kentucky. Let's see. Let's come back over here to the chat. Let's talk to our peeps. I really want to make sure that we cover as much as possible. But at some point I do have to go to sleep because tomorrow I'm going to be here doing this for 11 hours straight. 11 hours straight. Jackson says, I have to drive 3 hours from Detroit to Northwest Ohio on the day this is supposed to happen. What do my odds look like? What do your odds of what look like? Survival? You know what? I would say that, if you are traveling, to be serious, like to actually be serious, if you're traveling through this from Northwest Ohio into Detroit, it is going to be quite dangerous, especially if you're traveling during this time period. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. It's going to be raining in Northwest Ohio around 10 p.m. tomorrow night, and then that rain's going to quickly turn over to snow around midnight. Same thing in Detroit. And then that snow's going to last, that snow's going to last a while, all the way through the early morning hours on Friday. We're going to have really cold wind chills. So the roads are going to be bad. It just depends on when you're traveling, honestly. If you're following the cold front, it might not be as bad as if you were to go during the overnight period. So that's the timing on that. This is 9 p.m. This is Northwest Ohio. This is Detroit. That's 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 12 a.m., all the way through 4 a.m., 5 a.m. On Friday. Let's see here. Par. Seriously, guys, Thank you for the very generous $100 super chat. Hope this can help. Thanks for all you do. How about Los Angeles? Hey, we'll talk about Los Angeles again here in a second, but you guys actually look fabulous. It's going to be above average and everything. That's probably the best place to do Christmas this year in the whole U.S. Any weather predictions for Green Bay? Yeah, it's going to snow. It's going to snow a lot in Green Bay. Some of the latest models are suggesting over 6 inches of snow, maybe even close to a foot of snow. But though it's going to be wind blown and you're not going to be able to measure it. So it really doesn't matter how much snow you're going to get. You're going to get an intermittent blizzard, and it's going to be cold, and it's going to be a pretty significant winter storm for you. How about south of Alabama, south of Birmingham? That's going to be, it's going to get cold. There's going to be several areas that experience wind chills in the teens. And maybe even a little bit less. There's going to be some flurries, but for the most part, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's going to get cold. It's going to get downright dangerously cold, especially for the southern standards. Once again, the South is extra susceptible to this. The farther south you go, it doesn't take as much cold air to cause problems. But south of Birmingham, the chances of snow are very slim. Look at most of the flurries and snow showers are happening north of Birmingham. But still, it's going to get cold. The cold air is going to come in around 2 a.m. Friday morning, and it's going to get really intense around 5 or 6 a.m. Once again, close to 5-10 degrees with the wind chill. And it depends on how far south you go. Things get a little bit better. Maybe down here near Enterprise and Mobile, Alabama, we're only talking about a 20-degree wind chill. But still, for you guys, that's going to be quite significant. Let's see. I got hit with the frontal boundary as I was driving to Denver. Winds were 40 miles an hour and temperatures dropped from 45 down into the teens. Man, that's going to be crazy. It's crazy that most of America is going to experience that tomorrow. Crazy. Can you speak on central Pennsylvania? I'm a trucker. I'm trying to get home from Syracuse, New York on Friday. Yeah, central Pennsylvania is going to get snow, but not until, man, when is this going to load, bro? Is this ever going to load? Okay, cool. Central Pennsylvania is going to start off as snow early tomorrow morning, 9, 10, 11 a.m. It'll be snowing out here. That snow is going to move up towards Syracuse around 5 p.m. tomorrow. Quickly, though, this will all turn into rain. So it'll go from snow to rain first. And then you'll get a little bit of a break. And then in central Pennsylvania, it'll go from rain to snow around 7 or 8 a.m. on Friday. And then this transition is going to be the one where we have really bad wind chills and a flash freeze event. Not a lot of snow is expected overall unless you're in the higher elevations. But definitely after 8 a.m. on Friday in central Pennsylvania is when we expect some of the more serious stuff. Really interesting tweet from the good old Evan Fisher. You guys from Western North Carolina might know Evan. But he's saying the latest run of the HRRR suggests wind chills may rival some legendary records across Western North Carolina. While this model is notably cooler than others at the moment, wind chills near -60 are not unheard of above 6,000 feet, and it happened on Mount Mitchell in 2015. Guys, I live up here in Kentucky, and that -33, I've never seen that in my life. It's been cold here before. I think that the coldest temperature without wind that I've actually experienced is 1 degree. this is like it's going to be -5 or -6 with a wind chill of -33. I'm not looking forward to it. I'll go ahead and tell you that. I like the milder weather. Now, don't get me wrong, I love snow, but I prefer the milder weather. Yeah, I prefer the milder weather for sure. But that's an interesting tweet there. David Adams says, reporting about 4 inches in Farmington, Minnesota. Nice. Nice use of the Yolometer there. It's so crazy that there are so many Yolometers out there. Every TV station. Every TV station, every place that would traditionally get snow reports sent in, like a lot of them are going to have Yolometers in them now, thanks to you guys. I think that's hilarious. That's funny. I mean, it does make for a better picture. Like, how much better is that? How much better is this than those blurry pictures that are half focused, half not focused on a ruler that's like this big, that's down in the snow, and like there's like snowflakes covering up part of the incremental measurements. Like, this is cooler. It might not be officialer, but it's cooler. Holy smokes. Current view from a trooper's car in Cheyenne, Wyoming. This video is from Wyoming Highway Patrol. What? So there you go, the great cold front of 2022. At least for some period of time, this is what a lot of those areas in the blizzard warning will look like. So just drill that one into the brain, because not everybody will see this, but a lot of people will see something similar to this as the blizzard rolls through. And that's why it's dangerous. That's why even if there's only an inch of snow on the ground, it could still look like that, and you still can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Fireball looking thing from North Anchorage, Alaska at 5:47 a.m. Now, thankfully, that's got nothing to do with this storm, but still interesting, to say the least. Still snowing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thanks for sending in the report there. It's going to snow even more. Wow. Current conditions on Highway 71 in Banner County, visibility is non-existent. Highway 71 between Scottsbluff and Kimball is closed. I-80 west from Ogalla is also closed. Oh. Once again, this is why it's dangerous. It's dangerous to be out there. It's like a hurricane, but with snow. I mean, pretty much is what it's like. Oh, Lord. Did I say it wrong? I'm already pronouncing town names wrong. Shoot. Hey, Amy, thanks for becoming a Slight Risk member. Super huge shout out to all the new members. We'll try to do a members only live stream soon. My first super chat, and I stay on YouTube. Charlotte, North Carolina, please, and thank you. Charlotte, North Carolina, no snow, but definitely it's going to get cold. We could approach 0 to -5 degree wind chills for a brief period of time, early Friday morning. But Charlotte, there's no major impacts expected from this. It's going to get very cold. But as far as snow and precipitation goes, there's going to be a little rain that could freeze whenever the transition happens. But that's mainly what we're looking at there. It's time to play in the snow. I'll be hot tent camping in that 27-inch snow area in Michigan tomorrow and filming it all. And it'll be on my channel next week. Atlas Adventures, that sounds awesome. I'm going to go subscribe and try to send us some clips tomorrow so we can show it on stream. We'll advertise for you. We'll make sure everybody watches your video. Need to teach you how to pronounce Traverse City. Okay. It's like the A in hat. Wait, what? It's like the A in hat? Hat. Traverse. Am I saying that right? Traverse? Oh, God. I'm sorry, Traversians. I'm not from there. So I will butcher your town names. Welcome to, okay, so on this channel, you know, we cover the weather and like I give you money. If you were watching earlier, that makes sense. That, you know, you can't get that on the Weather Channel, but I will mispronounce your town name. And it's I don't mean any disrespect. It's just, as long as I get the gist across, you know, I think you get the point. You are allowed to laugh at me and make fun of me for it though, because I know how annoying that is. I'm from Eastern Kentucky. There's a lot of town names around here. You guys just reading them, I would probably laugh at you. But thank you. I will try to remember that going forward. Traverse City. All right. Denison, Iowa. We'll do Iowa here again. Here's where we talked about Iowa for like 10 hours tonight. I don't want to spend too much time going over Iowa over and over again, but we will re-hit it again right here in a second. Let's see here. The Meowshmellows, thanks for becoming a Slight Risker. Dang. They haven't canceled any routes for tomorrow or Friday. What's supposed to be like in Western Illinois? In Western Illinois, it is going to be very windy and very snowy from around 10 a.m. in the morning tomorrow to 9 p.m. So pretty much all day tomorrow. It's going to be very snowy, very windy. And then from 10 p.m. through the rest of the night, it's going to get dangerously cold, 30 to 40 degrees below zero with the wind. Back to Iowa. Central Iowa, it looks like most of the snow that you're going to get is going to be gotten by 10 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. Not a lot of snow expected out here, maybe up to 6 inches for some people. But the big problem for you guys is the blizzard. You're going to have a blizzard. Whether you have an inch of snow or 10 inches of snow on the ground, you're not going to notice because you're not going to be able to see your hand in front of your face as the wind is whipping at 50 miles per hour and blowing all that snow around. That'll be taking place throughout the majority of the morning into the afternoon tomorrow. Yes, there will be flash freezing problems in North Carolina. It's going to rain. It's going to get cold. That rain's going to turn into ice. Absolutely. This is nuts, y'all. I've never seen this much interest. I have never in my life seen this much interest around a weather event, and it makes sense because of the massive scale and like impact level of this storm. But man, I've covered hurricanes. I've covered tornado outbreaks. We were here during the massive tornado in Western Kentucky, the Mayfield tornado. We were here for Hurricane Laura. We were here for Hurricane Ida, Hurricane Ian. We were here for the big blizzard last year in the New England. We were here for the heat wave. I mean, like, we were here for everything. I've never felt this level of nationwide concern about the weather before. And like, to be fair, this is a big deal. Like, it's a massive cold front, big storm. A lot of people are going to get snow and cold weather, but like nearly Category 5 hurricanes don't produce this much interest in the weather, which is it's just kind of wild to me. This is my favorite meme, and this makes more sense whenever we're covering tornadoes. But like, whenever we're covering tornadoes and I pronounce your town name wrong, you might initially think it's funny. But when you realize it's your town, maybe it's a little bit less funny. But, you know, when we're talking about negative 50-degree wind chills, I guess that the same thing can apply as well. Yes, sir. Yeah, it is snowing in, it's snowing in Colorado right now. There's some really heavy snow in Colorado. It's going to continue to snow in Colorado, but intermittently. It'll be done and out of the southern part of the state by 8 a.m. Some of the heaviest snow is going to fall west of Denver, though, north of Glenwood Springs in this area. Through the night tonight and into the early morning hours tomorrow. We'll have snow 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. in Denver. But this is also going to be quite intense with the wind. So just get ready for that. It's going to be very windy, very snowy, but not a lot of accumulation, except for, like, you know, up here in northwestern Colorado. Yeah, we'll have the accumulation, but like in Denver, points south and east, probably not. Probably not. Let's see here. What impact will this have on wildlife populations? -2 in Denver with low wind. I'm not the right person to ask that question. I'm sure it will have an impact, certainly, especially in some of the places where the temperatures are going to be so anomalously low. Into the deep south, into the Ohio Valley, some of the places that are going to be negative, 40 degrees below average. I'm sure it'll have, for a sustained period of time, I'm sure that'll have quite the impact, but I don't know exactly. I tend to know more about things in the sky than on the ground, unfortunately. Traverse, Ryan, I'm so happy. Congratulations, you and Steph and Echo. I can't believe you made it. David, this is David G. David G has been here since the beginning, for real, yeah. I can't believe you made it. Remember hundreds of us liking and sharing long ago, 2 years ago, all newbies. He really does do this because he loves it. Thank you, David. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. David G was one of the first people to ever send me a super chat. I was covering a snowstorm, in the Northeast 2 years ago. Nobody was watching except for like David G and my mom. And David G really believed in me. You know what? He said, Ryan, one day you're going to have 900,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I said, David, ain't no way. And, he's been a big source of motivation for me ever since. David, seriously, though, thank you for that. And thanks for sticking around and being here for like the whole 2 years. That's awesome. That's very awesome. Thanks for the support. Yeah, we started with nobody watching, and I didn't care. Like, I love the weather. I don't care. Like I'm going to sit here and geek out about the weather, whether you guys are here with me or not. I turn on the YouTube live stream and people want to watch. So that's super cool. It's cherry on top. I have to drive from Eastern Illinois to Central Pennsylvania tomorrow. Should I leave early? Yeah, probably. Be careful. Be careful. Central Texas is going to get pretty cold. Not a lot of snow, not a lot of precipitation at all. But we're talking about 0 degrees with the wind. In the teens without the wind. So things are going to freeze. It's going to get very cold. There is some concern about the power grid. I don't think that this will be a repeat of the big one, especially not for Texas. But you definitely need to prepare for it just in case. It's going to get cold. Ryan, I'm giving you permission to go to bed and rest for tomorrow. You know what? That's probably not a bad idea. That's probably not a bad idea. Oh boy. The snow is picking up out here. If I didn't have to sleep, we'd stay up all night and track this thing through Iowa. I know I got so many people watching in Iowa right now. I hate to let y'all down. That's the one thing. That's where the Weather Channel is better than me. There's multiple ones of them. I have to go to sleep. Actually, I don't know. Is the Weather Channel even covering this right now? I bet they are. Or is it Ice Road Truckers or something like that? Anyways, things are going to continue to deteriorate in Iowa. Points east tonight. I'm going to get some rest and I'll hop back on here tomorrow. Once again, I'm going to be here for 12 hours straight. We're going to be watching the cold front sweep through America together. We're going to end whenever it gets to me. And the lights are green. The lights are green. Are you all seeing this right now? Whenever the lights turn green, that means that it's time to talk to Andy, the weather machine. I don't have the proper means of talking to Andy in the way that we normally do right now because I didn't set it up because I didn't think we would have Andy. But Andy, if you can hear me, Zello. Go ahead, Andy. We'll see if he comes through on Zello. If he does, then we'll hear what he has to say. Nashville. Yeah, Nashville, it could snow a little bit in Nashville for sure. I hope that Andy has the ability to talk to me on Zello. Andy and a lot of our team are not home right now. People obviously have gotten on planes and, they're away from home. They're visiting family. It's Christmas. So, and Andy's not at his desk and, in his normal situation like he normally is. So I'll see what he's got to say. No Zello, I'll grab it. Okay. All right. We might hear from Andy here in a second. But Andy does have a tweet that we're going to share. Just so we're on top of the meteorology side of this event, this is not a result of the polar vortex. There we go. You notice how Ryan Hall, y'all, and Andy and everybody involved have avoided using the term polar vortex? It's because the stratospheric polar vortex is actually quite strong and thus stable at the moment. That's why Ryan and us have referred to it as the Siberian Express. It's absolutely right. We are anti-buzzwords unless they're necessary. I love using the word massive to describe a storm, especially when it's in a YouTube title. But I don't like using bombogenesis and polar vortex all willy-nilly, man. It's too easy. The Siberian Express is was a way better term for this particular phenomena. But this is a 48 hour animation of wind chill from the HRRR model. Dude, we've got to look at that. We've got to look at that. I don't think I've seen this. This is definitely way more extreme than anything else, right? And there's a new GFS. My God, how long have we been going? I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. This is too exciting. There's too much stuff going on. Yep, the new GFS is running right now. It's 0Z. What was I going to? Oh, yeah, HRRR. This is the high resolution rapid refresh. Surface temperature, apparent temperature. Look at the 0Z. The 0Z. Wow. Multiple areas up to 74 degrees below zero here. Look at that. Excuse me. Wow. Yeah, this is way more intense. Look at this. All right, let's zoom in. Central. Once again, still looking at maybe close to 25 degrees below zero in the panhandle of Texas around 11 a.m. Tomorrow, all of Kansas, negative 30, negative 40. Holy smokes. Yeah, this is bringing negative 40 wind chills all the way into like central Illinois, all of Iowa. High wind warnings are out for New England. Dang, look at that. Negative 20 in Nashville. Wow, close to zero all the way down towards Houston. Now, this is by far the coldest model, so we don't necessarily need to take it with a grain of salt, but we do need to keep that in mind. None of the other models are quite this cold. Look at that, negative 40. Oh, negative 40 in Lexington, Kentucky. My goodness. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. This is just one model. We look at a lot of models to make our forecast, but this is the most aggressive one that I've seen so far. Look at all those negative 40s here. And the winds along with that, all the green is 30 to 40 miles an hour. The reds and the yellows, 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour. Yeah, this is going to cause a lot of problems, guys. This is going to cause a lot of problems. All right, so I am going to... I'm going to call it a night, I think. We're going to wait and see if we can hear back from Andy. But I think that I'm going to get some rest, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to be here for 12 hours. Hopefully we get a lot of Yalameter picks in tomorrow. And we are, I think tomorrow we are relaunching the Yalameter on shopryanhall.com. It'll be a pre-order. So it'll be a little bit before you get it. So, but there will be more snowstorms, and I'm going to be live for all of them. So if you want one, if you want to join in on the massive group of people that are helping me create the largest database of snow reports ever in the history of the world, then you'll be able to pre-order a Yalameter tomorrow if you want to. You don't have to, obviously. And like, you can just send me a picture with a regular ruler. Like, it's really not that bad. A regular yardstick. If you don't want to or can't get a Yalameter, it's all good. It's just something fun that helps me move the channel forward and continue to do the things we do without having to go Get some big corporate sponsor or something. Just Yalameters. This stream was brought to you by the Yalameter. Pulling all-nighter. I can't because I got to do that tomorrow. I'm going to be up till like 4 a.m. tomorrow or into Friday covering this. So I'm going to get some rest tonight. And I'll be here all diggity daggone day tomorrow and into the morning on Friday. Please, please, please follow me on Twitter. That's the best way to keep up with me. If you have Twitter, literally, I'm posting updates constantly at Ryan Hall Y'all. At Ryan Hall Y'all. Give me a follow. Additionally, give me a follow if you are on YouTube and you want to follow like more, I guess, intricate updates from me on the weather on a more consistent basis. Follow my YouTube channel, Ryan Hall Y'all Extra, XTRA. And yeah, we'll get it going. I've been uploading almost daily on that channel. The way it works is this channel, the main channel, I post like big outlooks kind of videos. Like we talked about this storm several days ago on this channel. All right. And then like kind of like winter outlooks or how does the month of January look like that? That's what I'm doing on this channel. And then short-term live stream things like hurricanes, blizzards, tornado outbreaks, whatever. That's what this channel is for. My extra channel, I don't edit those videos. I don't really go live. I mean, they're edited, but not intensely. And it's easy for me to just kind of turn on the camera, talk, and then upload a video to that channel. So that's what I'm doing. And the reason I put them on different channels is just because for some reason, when you put those two kinds of content together on the same channel, they both do less well. Something weird about the YouTube algorithm. I don't know what it is. But like on this channel, if I tried to upload an extra video on this channel, it wouldn't do well. And then this channel video wouldn't do as well. I don't know why. I know it's complicated, it's stupid, wish didn't have to do it. Call YouTube. But yeah, the Ryan Hall Y'all Extra is the other channel. Follow me on Twitter, and we will keep updated with each other on there. And then, of course, what else? What else? I don't know. Just stay tuned. Subscribe to this channel, and you'll get a notification whenever we go live for tomorrow. And my goodness, we're up to 906,000 subscribers now. I think in the craziest situation, we could possibly hit 950,000 subscribers tomorrow, maybe even 1 million if everybody shares and gets involved. Whether it's 906,000 or 1 million, I'm super thankful for y'all, and it doesn't matter to me about the numbers. I just think it's fun to look at. But I'm thankful for y'all, and I'm going to make sure we're doing the best we can tomorrow to try to just give you the best coverage. We're going to have storm chasers on the ground. We are going to have meteorologist Andy Hill. We're going to have myself. We're going to have live stationary cameras, live temperature sensors. It's going to be cool. And we're going to have memes. We're going to have the chat. We're going to have Yalameters. I mean, there's literally nowhere else you can keep up with the weather like you can here on YouTube. For free, by the way. I'll never, ever in a million years charge you a dime to watch this. And if I ever do, if I'm ever like, you know what, guys, I'm the coolest weatherman ever, and like, honestly, you should probably pay $5 to be able to watch me. I want you guys to literally cancel me. All right? I want you to cancel me harder than you've ever canceled anybody before. I want you to make sure that I never, ever, ever am able to do that. All right? I don't think that I'll ever get there. I don't think I'll ever try that. But hold me accountable. This will always be free for however long I do this. I'm going to do it free, hopefully on YouTube or whatever platform is best at the time. And it's going to be good. All right. Thank y'all. That's it. I'm done. Bye-bye.